I think it would be quite fun to do a favorite video games bingo. I don't think Separate Ways is out yet. You know, I don't see it. But should I download Mercenaries, guys? Do you think I should download Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries? You know, I wasn't sure about it before, but now that I'm looking at the situation, I mean, come on. You can race against the clock and battle your way to the top of the leaderboards. In Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries. Are you ready to test your mettle in this thrilling, breakneck fight for survival against an increasingly dangerous horde of enemies? Are you? Oh, my computer's low on storage. That's funny. That's cute. Let me delete these real quick before OBS doesn't let me save the VOD anymore. There we go. Now we have 42 more of God's greatest gigabytes. Okay. So, like, I need to test something real quick, because I would really prefer to not have to go through my computer on stream. Can I just, like, upload images? I could just do image URLs. Okay. So we're gonna do this. Because I think this would be fun and cute and sweet. Alright, I posted it in the Discord. We are good to go. You might see that this is Anime Bingo. That's not canon. That's not gonna be the name. How do I change the name of this? I remember you could do it. Oh, there it is. I'm dumb. Bingo! You guys love bingo. Okay. Well, let me change the category to just chatting also. We're just gonna chill for a bit and talk some of my favorite games. And we're gonna go all the way, man. We're gonna do a 7x7. Okay? 49 of my favorite games. They're really 48 because there's the free space. But 48 of Morgan's most god-blessed games. Now, there is a big 3 here that that cannot be beat. That can never be beat. Also, it's gonna be a little awkward to, like, look at chat while I'm doing this, because I have 2 monitors, not 3. Also, hi, Adrian. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So, like, the #1 of all time, no matter how I'm feeling, it's Pokemon Emerald. Pokemon Emerald is my favorite video game of all time. If you couldn't tell by the fact that I played a mod of it for, like, 5.5 hours. I have played Pokemon Emerald so many times that there is basically nothing in that game that I haven't done. I've basically used every single Pokemon in it at least once. I've done all the legendary hunting, including all the fucking, all the event legendaries. Pretty much the only thing I don't think I've done all the way through is, like, the Battle Frontier. And that's, like, I probably would have fun doing that if it wasn't for the fact that EV training in the early Pokemon games kind of sucks. But, like, Pokemon Emerald is a game that I can go back to in, like, basically any form it takes, because there are so many Emerald mods that I've also played over the years. If I, like, include, like, mods, I probably have well over 10,000 hours in Pokemon Emerald alone. And I mean, it's probably not fair to include mods, but even then, I would still say Pokemon Emerald is easily my most played video game ever, and it's, like, not even close. I have played this game inside and out so much over, like, the past, like, 18 years it's been out. It's been my favorite game since I was a kid, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. I think, like, the balances have been tipped sometimes with, like, the big three. But, like, usually Pokemon Emerald is at the top. Usually Pokemon Emerald is the game. Like, it's that game for me. Second of the big three, which you might not expect as much, because I haven't actually played a lot of, like, Mario World, like, hacks and stuff on stream. But, like, Mario World is the perfect engine. Like, this is also kind of including mods also. Mario World is the perfect engine, and it has Yoshi. It fucking has Yoshi. But, like, Mario World is, like, probably the best Mario has ever felt in 2D, and it's still not even really close. Like, Mario plays fine in, like, Mario 3. Mario plays fine in New Super Mario Bros. I have no complaints about the controls necessarily, or the physics, but there's something about Mario World and its specific, like, physics engine that feels, like, so fucking perfect. And I think that's also why it's such, like, a popular ROM hacking game, is because, like, the foundation of Super Mario World is near perfect. They needed to make a launch title for this SNES, and they fucking made one, man. This was back in the day where a launch title was, like, guaranteed to be insane. Cape is the best power-up they ever did. I mean, to be fair, it's not like like, all launch titles these days are, like, bad. I mean, I would never try and argue that, like, Breath of the Wild is, like, a bad launch title. But, like, here's the thing. How many companies have made a launch title nearly as good as Super Mario World? I don't know if those exist. A lot of the times the launch titles are, like, you know, they're experimental, but not necessarily super ambitious. I feel like Super Mario World is a mix of both, you know? Mario World still has, like, a very distinct identity that, like, no other Mario game has really recaptured. Like, they literally have a game called Super Mario 3D World, and Super Mario 3D World borrows more from Mario 2 than Mario World. Spin jump being busted is so cool, literally. And the cape really is the best power-up ever. Yeah, it being nerfed in Mario Maker does suck. And I tell you, man, Super Mario World is a game that I, like, whenever I think about it and I'm like, I just want to spend the day beating Super Mario World, I'll do it, and I'll have a fun fucking time doing it. Because this game is, like, so good. I think it is still Mario's best adventure. I really do. I think it's Mario's best adventure. And I also think it's, like, the best Super Nintendo game, if that wasn't obvious. I mean, the Super Nintendo has a great library, and I mean, it started out with such a fucking bang, man. They really, like, they knocked it out of the park first try. I love Super Mario World. And the last of the big three on my list, and, like, you guys probably saw this coming. You guys probably saw this one coming. Because it is the game that I've probably streamed the most. It's TF2. It's fucking TF2, man. What can I say about Team Fortress 2 that I haven't said from streaming it for, like, probably about 100 hours at this point? TF2 is, like, the best multiplayer shooter that anybody has ever made. This game has been relevant for 16 years and doesn't show signs of stopping. This game faced a bot crisis like no other, and still, the player base kept latching on. The player base still wanted to play more TF2. Do you know how many multiplayer games would instantly get killed if they had a bot problem on the level of TF2? Because a lot of multiplayer shooters just don't have, like, pretty much no multiplayer shooter that is being played now has the legacy of TF2. TF2 has amassed this, like, devoted player base over 16 years. And, like, it is kind of true. You never really stop playing TF2. Those shooters don't have silly boys, literally. It's the best. It's the best. You can't beat TF2. It is definitely the best multiplayer experience I've ever had. I usually consider myself more into, like, single-player games. Not that I don't like playing games with my friends. Like, fucking obviously I love doing random shit with my friends. I think that's what I really like about modern Pokemon. It is easier than ever to kind of play along with my friends and do all this stuff for each other. But no multiplayer experience has come close to TF2. TF2 is the best first-person shooter. And, like, probably the best multiplayer game ever. Well, as a quick reminder, since we're on another segment, I'm gonna shill real quick. You can admire my 3 top games. Like, these 3 are the big 3. If I had a top 3 games, it's this 3. And then everything else after that is ambiguous. But real quick, if you want to support the stream, it is currently September. So we're gunning for the goal of 50 subscribers. We are currently 9 subscribers away. If you subscribe, you get a free Codename Steam/Meatball Parade, or if you gift a sub, you also get that. Yeah, I'll also do the Harlem Shake if we get to 100. That's not for September, that's just forever. If we ever get 100 subscribers, I will just do the Harlem Shake on stream, honestly. But specifically for September, the sub goal is 50, and at 50, we will do a Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke, which should be a lot of fun. If you enjoyed the Pokemon Emerald Rogue segment, you would enjoy the fuck out of the Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke. I have a lot of experience doing that kind of shit. But yeah, that's my shilling. Also, if you pay for 5 gift subs, you could use that to redeem Sonic Forces, and I'll have to play Sonic Forces on the next Variety Hour or Midnight segment. You could do that if you want, you know? Honestly, at this point, with the way I do streams, that would pretty much just be the next stream if you really wanted it to be. Because, like, I mostly just do Variety Hours and Midnight segments. Well, this is Frontiers music. This is Frontiers music. I do have Sonic Forces music in the playlist, though. You were about to say it, Celeste, again? Well, it's okay. You technically didn't get a 3rd strike on your guesses. So you're fine. The batter says... Or not the batter. The pitcher says you can try and hit another one. Oh, you missed that one. Try another. But yeah, that's my shilling. That's my shilling for myself. Now back to the favorite games. This music is making me think about Sonic. And like, if I had to pick my favorite Sonic game, it is very, very like, it probably would have been closer back in the day, but I think it is, like, no contest. As, like, a young adult, my favorite Sonic game is Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure is, like, so of its time in the best way possible. Sonic Adventure is, like, a game that is, like, one of the first video games that feels like it's trying to be more than just a video game. Like, Sonic Adventure is a fucking experience, man. It has, like, these 6 very different, like, characters, and you can, like, debate whether or not all of those characters are good. Personally, like, listen, I like Sonic, I like Tails, I like Knuckles. I think Amy is alright to play. I also think Gamma's alright, and I also think Big is alright. I don't have a problem with the other 3 characters. Obviously, do I like playing as Sonic the most? Yeah, obviously. His name is on the damn game. If he wasn't the best character in it, like, someone at Sega would be, like, dead right now. Not because of me, but just because, like, they failed. You know, they wouldn't be able to live with that failure. And man, just talking about how Sonic, like... This game could be my favorite Sonic game just based on how good his campaign is alone. I do not think that Sonic has ever felt better to control in a 3D game than he does in Sonic Adventure. Like, the shit you can accomplish with, like, his, like, physics in Sonic Adventure, it's sublime. It's sublime. I like the boost formula games. I think they're good. But, like, I think, like, the adventure style is definitely where I felt Sonic played the best. Like, like, Sonic Adventure Sonic is just so fun to control. It's so fun to just be around in the world. It really is, like, like you said, Splee, the vibes are immaculate. I think the hub worlds are, like, perfect. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. I think the hub worlds are perfect, and if you have, like, listen, if you think they kind of, like, stall out the game a little bit, you know, you just want to go level from level, I can kind of understand that. If you think that the hub worlds are confusing, they have the little Tikal bubble who just tells you what to do. If you don't know what to do with the little Tikal bubble, I honestly think, like, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit on you. It's a little bit on you. I don't think the hub worlds are that confusing to navigate, because they're, like, already not that big. So, I have no problem with the hub worlds. And I don't think they're very confusing. I think they're only confusing if you refuse to ever be told what to do. Tikal just wants you to gamble. She says go to the casino. You might find something. But I mean, all the characters feel, like, fun to control. I would honestly say that the character I like playing the least is Amy, and I still think she's, like, fine. And even if I didn't think she was fine, she's, like, the shortest campaign. Technically, Big can be the shortest campaign if you really know how to control him, which I do. I fucking, like, I have a psychic link with Big, okay? I understand what it means to be Big the Cat. Just, like... How could I forget this is the first iteration of the Chao Garden? Granted, the Chao Garden is not as good in the original release, but listen, if you're playing Sonic Adventure in the modern day, and you're not playing the Dreamcast conversion mod on Steam, you gotta do it, man. It's the best Sonic Adventure experience. It is basically just Sonic Adventure Original in HD, plus the DX versions, like Expanded Chao Garden. It fixes up a lot of the bugs that were introduced in the later releases. The lighting looks much better, you know, they don't look like disgusting plastic beings. If you're a Sonic Adventure fan at all, and you haven't played, like, the Dreamcast conversion mod, you owe it to yourself. This is the 3rd game in a row that I've talked about mods for, also. But I mean, like, I think that's fine. I think, like, honestly, if a game has a lot of good mods, I think that's a plus towards it, you know? That's something that TF2 has. I didn't really talk about all the custom shit that TF2 has, but fucking, I spent so many days in my teenage years just, like, playing on random trade servers because I was so fascinated by, like, the custom maps that people had made just to hang out on. Like, that was my little hangout as a kid. was just these TF2 trade maps. So now all 4 games represented here have mod talk, which is funny. Morgan, are you saying these games are not perfect? No video game is. Alright? No video game is. Now, this is gonna be the first entry on the list that I did not play as a kid. In fact, I did not play this video game until, like, I was 21. I was of legal drinking age before I played this video game for the first time. So it was like 2 years ago, man. But I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it so real. Not true, Dong Dong never dies flawless. Sorry. Final Fantasy VII. You know how I talked about, like, how Sonic Adventure, like, feels so of its time? But, like, in the best way possible? That's the same thing with Final Fantasy VII. Playing Final Fantasy VII as an adult, like, made me, like, appreciate... Like, genuinely, it gave me a greater and deeper appreciation for that entire generation of video games. Because, like, as a kid, and, like, even kind of as a teenager, I didn't, like, really respect a lot of the early 3D days of gaming. I was like, oh, a lot of these games are, like, bad, they haven't aged well, yada yada yada. But, like, Final Fantasy VII... It is such a 1997 game. If you had to name the video game of 1997, that would probably be it. It's weird to say FF7 has great cinematography, but it does, literally. It's cinematic in, like, the best way possible. Like, Square Enix really got the best out of the PlayStation. I think it was, like, a very good choice for them to, like, move away from the N64 and go to PlayStation. I don't think Square Enix would have made any good games nearly as good as FF7 if they were, like, sticking with Nintendo. And you know what? That's a plus to early Sony as well. Early Sony was, like, so into, like, putting out all these, like, different experimental, weird games, making games more cinematic. Like, and FF7 was, like, the poster child. FF7 is, like, only outsold on the PS1 by, like, Gran Turismo. Like, Final Fantasy VII is the reason why if you say you're into RPGs, people don't look at you like you have 2 heads. Because it's the RPG of all time, man. And it is, like, unapologetically an RPG, too. Like, again, you can tell, I love Pokemon, but a lot of Pokemon fans don't even like to acknowledge the fact that Pokemon is a JRPG, you know? They're always like, oh no, it's a monster-catching game. That's different, we promise. Some weirdos still look at you like that, but fuck them, they never played FF7, literally. It's just like, man, FF7 is, like, so good. And, like, even, like, with the big spoilers that everybody knows at this point in time. Like, everybody knows Aerith dies, everybody knows Sephiroth is a big fucked up dude who kills people. The story of FF7 is just so good. I, like, honestly... That's probably the biggest thing that, like, no, like, future FF7 media has, like, ever hit again, is, like, FF7 has, like, a really fucking good story. Like, is it weird and esoteric sometimes? Yeah. But it's, like, fucking good, dude. You get, like, so invested in this cast of characters, and, like, all the shit that happens, like, dude... FF7 is a video game that could end at, like, 3 separate points and still feel satisfying, but it just keeps building up to this bigger and bigger climax, and you just, like, think in your head, there's no way it sticks the landing, and then you beat the fucked up big Sephiroth with One-Winged Angel playing in the background, and you're like, whoa, it did stick the landing, man. It really is, like, holy shit. Save for Sephiroth really is so cool. Sephiroth is, like, honestly, genuinely, like, there are so many little things that make FF7 so good. Sephiroth is, like, a near-perfect antagonist. Like, Sephiroth is the exact antagonist that Final Fantasy VII needed. Like, honestly, like, listen, Shinra makes for a great, like, opposing group to be facing for most of the game. Nobody in Shinra has nearly the amount of, like, menace that Sephiroth has. And that's, like, important. Sephiroth in the original Final Fantasy VII is menacing. I feel like in later interpretations, it's, like, easier to think he's a little more goofy. But, like, original FF7 Sephiroth is, like, the perfect villain. He's this fucked up eco-terrorist. Or not eco-terrorist, I mean eco-fascist. You're the eco-terrorist. He's just this fucked up eco-fascist who believes himself to be the ruler of the world because he has, like, this insane notion about what his true lineage is. Yeah, the fact that he's, like, this well-known hero that's already known to be fucked up strong because Shinra did all these experiments. Like, at the end of the day, Shinra is still the reason why all this shit happened. But Sephiroth makes for a better villain to come out of that than anybody who's actually in Shinra Corporation. FF7 is so good. And, like, enough praise cannot be given to your party members. Listen, none of us like Cid. None of us like Cid, but I think that in terms of, like, FF7's themings, because FF7 is a game that raises a lot of, like, morally gray questions, you know? There's a lot of moral ambiguity to, like, if what you're doing is, like, actually good or not. You know, especially when you're, like, blowing up all these reactors, and it's, like, really affecting the people of Midgar. It's, like, really fucking up their lives that you're doing all this. To the point where, like, Shinra just decides at some point, like, fuck it, we're gonna nip this in the bud now and just kill these fucking goobers by dropping the plate. Like, and, like, if you ask me, I don't think it's necessarily your fault that they dropped the plate. But it, like, you know, it's one of those things that makes you think, holy fuck, the stakes are so high for what you're doing. You're going against this, like, government that's, like, destroying the world, slowly but surely, and the end is coming faster and faster because of them. So, like, does the revolution need to be this bloody? It's an open question. Like, you could argue that, like, there could have been other ways for the gang to, like, take on Shinra. But I think that's one of Final Fantasy VII's strengths, is that it's not necessarily like, you know, your cast is 100% good. It's not like your heroes who just go up to Shinra and you're like, you guys are bad, we're gonna kill you, and then they're gone. They should have changed it from the inside, of course. You know, they all have their own selfish motives, in a sense. Like, it takes Barrett a while to realize that, like, Barrett, like, believes himself to be this very, like, you know, he believes himself to have this, like, moral compass of, like, what I'm doing is good 100%, and I only want to stop Shinra because it's good, and not because Shinra ruined his fucking life. You know? You know, he doesn't believe himself to be a selfish guy, but he is a little bit. And then he realizes, you know what? Yeah, I'm being a little selfish, but also fuck them, because at the end of the day, my own selfish desires to take down Shinra are still going to benefit the world. So even if I'm not a straight-up hero, at the very least I can be an anti-hero and still, like, stop this corporation from destroying the world. Also came across someone's essay pretty recently about being a Jewish Sephiroth/FF7 fan and made you pog in real life? Hell yeah. And, like, that goes back to what I was gonna say about, Yeah, I think that Barret is still a nice guy deep down. I think he is a good guy, but I did want to make it clear that, like, you know, all the characters have, like, these deep flaws, but at the end of the day, they're still people trying to do good. Like, Barret is still trying to do good, even if maybe he has, like, a little bit of, like, a selfish desire for why he would want to do it. Like, Cloud sure does. He just wants to kill Sephiroth, man. Sephiroth has ruined his fucking life. And Tifa's, like, going around basically, like... Because she does not want to hurt Cloud. She basically, like, lets Cloud fall into this big despair because he's, like, so confused about himself. That, like, holy shit. She just, like, lets Cloud live that lie. Instead of at any point, like, trying to ground him in reality, she is, like, fine with, like, playing along with Cloud's, like, delusions. Think that part when Cloud was going through it and had the Mako poisoning and the teammates were being patient with him and about it in their own ways changed you? Yeah, it's, like, so good. Like, these characters all care for each other. And you know what? Who could forget about Aerith? I think, like, honestly... And, like, this is tough. Because Cloud and Sephiroth are very iconic. Aerith could be as iconic, if not more so, to FF7. I mean, again, Aerith is the poster child of video game spoilers. But, like, she is someone who, like, is essentially placed into this role where she is the only one who can basically save the world. And she is, like... And it's not like she's like this perfect girl who's so sweet and so kind all the time. She gets a little cheeky with Cloud, you know? But, you know, at the end of the day, Aerith understands that, like, her sacrifice is more important to saving the world than her staying alive and trying to fight Sephiroth. Like, her holy spell going into the world is more important than her own life. People wouldn't talk about that moment if they didn't care about Aerith. Exactly. Like, dude, I could literally spend this entire bingo section just talking about FF7, because FF7 is, like, so interesting to analyze and talk about. There's so many good moments. There's so many iconic locales, the Gold Saucer, Cosmo Canyon, let alone fucking Midgar, which is maybe one of the most iconic video game locales of all time. Holy fuck. It's good, man. It's good, man. Like, I am almost, like, kind of glad I waited until I was an adult to play FF7, so I could truly appreciate how good it is, you know? I feel like if I played FF7 as a kid, it would have gone over my head. I would have thought it was too slow, I would have thought it was too long, there wasn't enough Pokemon's creatures. But it came to me at the exact sweet spot in my life where I could, like, truly and fully appreciate a game as well made as Final Fantasy VII. I didn't even talk about how it's just a fun RPG, too. I didn't even go into it being a fun RPG. I just talked about the story and the cinematics and the aesthetics and stuff. It's also just fucking fun, dude. It's a fun JRPG. It's got everything, man. But yeah, I think I spent like 10-15 minutes talking about FF7 alone. Holy shit. Holy fuck. I'm intimidated by the time meter stuff, but now you're kind of into it. It is, like, once you get into it, it's, like, perfect. You know? It does. It makes you think on your toes. Whew. I'm trying to think, like, what the fuck do we even follow that up with? Can you guys tell I like FF7? That reminds you of how you played Earthbound like 2 years ago after only playing it as a kid and it being like, wow, there's a lot of good shit in this game you just glossed over as a kid. Honestly, that's the perfect segue. That's the perfect segue because, like, if I had to place another video game to talk about that, like, is, like, fantastic, I fucking love Earthbound. I mean, like, Earthbound is the video game. It is, like, the cult classic of cult classics. Everybody knows what Earthbound is at this point, even if they haven't played it for themselves, just because the positive buzz that was spawned by Earthbound existing, it's weird, because for the longest time, we didn't really get to see the impact that Earthbound would have on the video game industry. Because, like, Mother was decently popular in Japan at the time. I think, like, Earthbound Mother 2 sold, like, 400,000 or so in Japan. It might have been more. I'd have to check. Mother 2 sales. Yeah, it sold, like, 500,000 units. Which is, like, you know, that's, like, good. It's not gonna be, like, it wasn't, like, gonna rock the world like a Dragon Quest, but people in Japan liked Earthbound, and then here, we didn't understand it. We saw this game stinks, and we were like, you know what, you're right. But then, like, the community that was spawned, that loved Earthbound from the start, They really, like, this game went from, like, a relative oddity on the Super Nintendo to being, like, maybe one of its most iconic. Itoy was a celebrity in Japan, too. That is very true. Again, Japan was kind of, like, immediately on board with the Mother series. You know, they didn't have problems with it. They were like, hell yeah, another RPG. I could not tell you the reception in Japan specifically. I don't know if people in Japan realized they were playing something that would be so groundbreaking in the future. I think they just saw Earthbound and they were like, hell yeah, RPG written by Itoy, basically. That's dope. We love that. But I mean, like, the legacy of Earthbound is, like, you know, going from failure to being, like, what, probably, like, top 5 most beloved Nintendo games ever. Like, I don't think that's an exaggeration to say. I think if there was a top 5 most beloved Nintendo games, Earthbound would be up there. With, like, maybe, like, Ocarina of Time and, like, Super Metroid. Like, these games that are so synonymous with, like, oh, Nintendo being this, like, great game company. They make great games anyways. Great company, that's very debatable. But yeah, Earthbound is funny. It's fun. It has a lot of, like, Earthbound is a game that maybe doesn't have a crazy overarching story, but it's about the moments, man. Earthbound has so many iconic moments that are, like, hard to get out of your mind. The entire Gygas sequence, Magic Hand, the shitty Monkey Cave, Fourside, Moonside, the 3'd zombie shit, saving Paula from the Happy cultists. Dude, I could spend an hour just naming, like, everything that happens in Earthbound, because basically every single thing that happens in Earthbound is, like, a crazy good moment. Even the stuff that's, like, not that good in Earthbound, it's still, like, memorable, and it sticks in your head. It just sticks in your mind. Like, the Monkey Cave is, like, so dog shit, because it's in, like, this wonderful video game. If it wasn't in another game, it would still be bad, but it would be, like, a footnote. But, like, holy shit. Earthbound is great. Earthbound is great, man. If you've never played Earthbound, like, genuinely, you owe it to yourself. I feel like we now live in a time where it's, like, much easier to see how Earthbound has influenced video games. Yeah, Monkey Cave is pretty funny. I mean, like, obviously, one of the, like, most popular indie games now is Undertale. And Undertale wears its, like, mother influences with pride. I mean, it takes samples from, like, Earthbound soundtrack. Fuck, dude, you want to talk about fantastic soundtracks? Earthbound's got one of the best. It's, like, probably the single best soundtrack on the Super Nintendo, to be honest. They sampled the Beach Boys to be one of the most ominous songs in that game. They turned the Beach Boys into, like, one of the most ominous songs in that game. Oh man, you're right. The soundtrack for Sonic Adventure is killer. I'm extending that to FF7 as well. Maybe FF7's soundtrack isn't as good as Adventure or Earthbound, but, like, FF7 has, like, such an iconic sound. It's good. It's good. We talked a lot of FF7, though. But yeah, Earthbound is, like... It's all the little things in Earthbound that make it greater than the sum of its parts, you know? Because if you just took Earthbound at face value... It's literally just a modern-day JRPG with a weird story. But it's like all the little things in this game that make it so good. Also, yeah, I had to do Birth of a God as my playoffs theme since I had the Genova theme as my, like, regular battle theme. I had to. I figured, like... It couldn't be anything else, honestly. It couldn't be anything else. One Wing and Angel didn't make sense. But, honestly, speaking about how Earthbound has influenced the video game industry as a whole, I mean, it's definitely, like, affected the indie scene the most. And, like, I already name-dropped it. It's Undertale. Listen. Undertale is fucking good. I don't think I need to tell you that Undertale is good. You've probably played Undertale, and you probably enjoyed it. And you might have even been in the fandom at the time. Come on, kids, let's save Undertale, too! But, like, seriously, Undertale is, like... Man, what like... Maybe one of the smartest games on this list. And, like, let me explain what I mean by that. Deltarune is what Toby Fox wanted to make all along, right? And Deltarune is really good. It's not finished, so I don't have a strong enough opinion to be like, oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a favorite all-timer. Because I might play Deltarune and come out of it and be like, yeah, that was good. But... Undertale, I mean, that's a finished game that was made on limited resources by someone whose primary output was music, and God does Undertale have good-ass music. And it's just this, like, very nice indie game that's, like, this kind of, like, deconstruction of the JRPG genre. And, like, it can be a little heavy-handed with that. You could argue all day about how heavy-handed the No Mercy run is. But, like, you know, when you play the pacifist run of Undertale, you really do get attached to those characters, man. It has some great fucking writing. And, you know, not every character is gonna stick with everyone. I think probably the least popular character is Alphys for a reason. But, like, Undertale is good, man. Undertale is good. It's one of the... It's so fun. I think, like, the bullet hell combat is, like, really interesting. And, like, doing, like, the little puzzles in battle to try and figure out, like, okay, what can I do to spare this monster? Or maybe would it be easier to just try and hit it, but not too hard so it doesn't die, you know? Also, you can say that, Faye. You can say whatever you want. But yeah, Undertale's good. It uses its very limited resources very well. It creates, like, a very, like, touching, like, meta-narrative. Like, honestly, the craziest thing about Undertale is that it is as meta as it is, and it doesn't feel insulting. You remember back during the month Undertale came out and you saw an E621 comment on a pic of Asgore that said it'd be so hot if during his boss fight Asgore's cock was just out and flopping around. Whoa, story of Undertale. It's also, like, honestly, one thing that makes me very happy about Undertale is that Undertale unabashedly has, like, a lot of, like, LGBT stuff in it. Because Toby Fox was, like, Toby Fox is, like, as far as we know, a cishet guy. We don't know that 100%. Maybe Toby Fox has got something else going on, but Toby Fox has been, like, very LGBT friendly. I mean, you have Alphys and Undyne as, like, a gay couple. A lesbian couple, even. And you have, like, Frisk and Kara being, like, non-binary. You have, like, Mettaton, who's, like, a trans man, like, kind of, like, metaphor. Same with, like, Mad Mew Mew kind of being, like, that parallel for trans women. Like, Toby Fox, it's, like, it's very cool that a game that is as mainstream and, like, has as big and rabid of a fan base as Undertale just has, like, a lot of, like, queer characters in the cast. Napstablook. Yeah, like, it's cool. Obviously, it's not why I personally love Undertale, but it cannot be overstated how crazy it is that this game is as popular as it is. And it has, like, all that stuff in it, just, like, unabashedly, you know? And it doesn't even really, like, linger on it, you know? There's no point where, like, Toby Fox is just, like, you know, the storyline isn't just that these characters are gay or these characters are trans. It's just naturally a part of the world, and that's really cool. You know? It's like, honestly even cooler that the fact that those things are in there are kind of footnotes, you know? Because it's like, they're both footnotes, but they're also things that cannot be, like, detached from these characters. You know? You're not gonna be able to say, like, oh, Alphys isn't gay, Undyne isn't a lesbian, because, like, dude, did you play the game? But it's not the only thing to their character arcs, you know? This isn't a romance, it isn't a transition story, it's about the underground go free. And I think that's cool. I think it's cool that it's able to do all that. But yeah, Undertale is cool. Undertale is very cool. And, like, anybody that was on the Undertale haterade for a bit, because, like, the fandom was annoying, grow up. Honestly, like, I hope that you have gotten past that, because, like, letting fan bases, like, dictate what you enjoy is, like, a disservice to yourself. You are limiting your own, like, media intake just because you think, like, people are annoying about something. Yeah, those are my Undertale thoughts. Undertale is very good. Undertale is very good, and obviously I highly recommend it. Well, let me think. What should be next? What should be next? Undertale was a very good segue. And I mean, Undertale is easily on this list. Portal, baby? I don't know if I could put Portal as one of my favorite games. Portal is very good, though. Portal is very good, though. I respect that that would be there. That makes a lot of sense, because Portal is, like, fantastic. Like, dude, the fact that the orange box is TF2, Half-Life, and Portal is fucking crazy. That's, like, the single greatest deal that any company has ever come up with. It's actually insane. I have to think, actually. This next one is tough. Because I'm, like, thinking of some games I want to put. But they're, like, repeat franchises, which I'm not opposed to, but I didn't want to have to do that this early. I kind of wanted to wait a bit and see how far I could spread things. And you know what? You know what? I think I found it. I think I found it. And this is maybe gonna be the least popular pick on the list yet. But it's like, it's a pick from the heart. It really is. It's a pick from the heart. Man, I don't know if there's ever gonna be a Fire Emblem game like Fire Emblem Echoes ever again. This game is like, listen, it is an NES remake, which, you know, it's a remake of an NES game that's also an RPG. That's crazy. That's crazy. There's no way that could be good, right? Fire Emblem Echoes is like... I really enjoy the Fire Emblem series a lot. And, like, Fire Emblem Echoes is a game that, like, even at my lowest hour with Fire Emblem, because there was a phase where, like, I was, like, convincing myself, man, Fire Emblem's done. Dumb. I hate Fire Emblem. This game sucks. Intelligent Systems doesn't know what they're doing. And then I played Three Houses and I stopped being a fucking baby. But, even during that phase, I loved Fire Emblem Echoes. I couldn't detach myself from it. It has the most gorgeous visuals out of all the 3DS games, easily. And I would argue it looks better than, like, Three Houses, too. I kind of like it more than N-Gage in terms of the visuals, too, just because the character design is so much better. Like, Fire Emblem N-Gage has some out-there character designs. I like Fire Emblem N-Gage, don't get me wrong, it's probably my game of the year, but Fire Emblem Echoes, man, holy shit. It is, like, it's tough as nails without being, like, too punishing. I mean, you get the Milla's Turn Wheel, which is a very good addition, especially for this, like, early Fire Emblem. That's a really good addition. Hidari needs to come back for another Fire Emblem game, man. His art style is so, like, immaculate for this series. The character designs in Fire Emblem Echoes are, like, the best the series has seen. And, like, the story is good. I'm not gonna, like, try and sell you on Fire Emblem Echoes as if it has, like, the most, like, insane story of all time. But it's, like, you really do care about all these characters at the end of the day. I honestly think, like, both Alma and Celica make for very compelling protagonists. I used to think that Celica was, like, kind of weak, but I don't know if I believe that anymore. I think that she's very good as a character. Replayed it recently with some LTC strats, and the fact that Alm can get a dread-looped villager is so funny. It's so good. It's so good. It's, like, easily my favorite Fire Emblem. It's maybe not the Fire Emblem I've played the most. But, like, man, listen, I can, like, think of the problems with Fire Emblem Echoes, and, like, I understand them, and, like, literally none of them bother me that much. I gotta keep it so real. None of them bothered me that much. Even on my recent replay, where I, like, took a little break because I, like, lost that one tower and got a little pissed off. Listen, that was after 2021 being an interesting year, so, like, I don't think that was Fire Emblem Echoes' fault. I think that was one, like, 2021 was an interesting year. I think it was a good year overall, but... Do you do Dreadloop, and then do the 2 static encounters in the mountain dungeon in Act 4? You can get a character from Villager all the way to Sniper? Holy shit. That's wild. By the time you get past the Dragon Lair, they're gonna be a Bow Knight? Damn. But yeah, Fire Emblem Echoes is good. Would I recommend it as your first Fire Emblem? Probably not. But, like, if you enjoy this series at all, play Fire Emblem Echoes. You won't regret it. There used to be a saying in the Fire Emblem fandom that was just play Gaiden, man. Fire Emblem Echoes is Fire Emblem Gaiden remade. And, like, it has been well received by the fandom. Just play Echoes, man. Just do it. You owe it to yourself. If you like this series at all, if you've played any of these modern Fire Emblems, play Echoes, man. Echoes is probably fine as a first game. Maybe. I feel like it would probably be a little too hard for some people, but it might be. That's the thing I'm considering the most, is that Fire Emblem Echoes is not easy. It is not easy at all. But you do, I do believe it has casual, and it does have, like, the Milla's turn wheel. So you can probably still get away with it if you're really dedicated. If you're worried about being too shit at it, just turn on casual mode. You'll be alright. Don't let anybody tell you, like, oh, you're playing casual? What are you, stupid? You're the one who's being stupid about caring about a fucking video game with, like, anime characters fighting each other. Haven't played the recent games, but they do seem like they go really deep into their own game-specific mechanics. Kinda true, kinda true. Like, the Cathedral in Three Houses and, like, the Engage rings in Fire Emblem Engage are, like, very much, like, part of the identity of those games. Three Houses is, like... I mean, Three Houses is good. That shouldn't be your first Fire Emblem, because you'll, like, have a fucked up interpretation of what Fire Emblem is supposed to play like. And you'll be like, whoa, what the hell? This isn't Fire Emblem at all! What the hell is this? And it's too damn long. True. True though. This post has been, verified by real American patriots. True. I'm going with another pick of the heart. And, like, I think this one's probably gonna be more popular as a pick. Have you ever played a DLC so good that it makes it one of your favorite video games ever? When the fuck has that ever happened? When the fuck has a DLC come out and been so good that it could be one of your favorite things that's ever come out? The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is a fantastic, like, roguelike game. And if you're, like, into those kinds of games at all, like, if you can get past, like, Binding of Isaac's, like, kind of gross-out humor, you'll find, like, a really, really fucking fun game. And, like, the thing was, I liked The Binding of Isaac before. It needed a little something, you know? It needed a little something. First of all, Afterbirth Plus was not a good expansion to leave on. Afterbirth Plus is, like, you get Delirium, and nobody likes Delirium. But you have this, like, expansion to the game that is, like, as big, probably bigger than a sequel. They say that in the marketing, and honestly, no lies detected. No lies detected. It is, like, you get so many new items. The cast, like, more than doubles. And just, The Binding of Isaac's story has always felt very dire. And, like, not always necessarily in a way where it, like, it almost feels like, I don't know, immature in its presentation. Which makes a little bit of sense. Because, like, The Binding of Isaac is the story of Edmund's own life. You know, he grew up with this, like, crazy evangelical family. And that's what he based the story of Isaac on. So, like, early in his adulthood, this was, like, kind of his way of coping, was making this, like, weird, fun, roguelike video game. And then, like, as he grew older, as he became a father, I think the true ending of The Binding of Isaac was the secret sauce. More so than, like, all these new characters, all these new items, which, granted, make it much better than fucking Afterbirth Plus ever felt. But that true ending, where you hear the voice of Isaac's father and Isaac himself, they redo the story of them all living together. It's nice. It's nice, you know? It's what Binding of Isaac needed. It needed that last bit of levity. Because otherwise, it is a very dire video game in terms of its story and lore. Sorry, it's like 12 in the morning. I'm, like, stammering over my words a little bit. I think the true ending is, like, so good and so well done that, like, I can't even imagine how the series would go forward. I don't know how another Binding of Isaac game would come out after Repentance. And that's not even to say Repentance is perfect, but I'm like, what the fuck do you do? Because it's like all these things about it, like come together to make it, like, so fucking fun and replayable and just have this, like, tearjerker of an ending that makes me fucking cry. It's made me fucking cry, and, well, I shouldn't say I don't cry easy, but I don't cry that much. It's good, man. It's good, man. The only problem is, you have to buy it from Nicalis. That is the only mark against this game. Other than that, it's, one of the greatest. Other than the fact that you have to give money to Nicalis. Or you can do what I did on the Switch. I bought the Switch version, and I just bought that shit straight from eBay. I wasn't giving more money to Nicalis. I already paid my way into Repentance. This would have been the perfect song to play while we were talking about Echoes also. I don't fucking have to start playing while I was talking about Isaac. Yeah, Isaac Repentance is, like, straight up the best DLC I've ever played. And it's, like, not even remotely close. I don't think, like, for $15, like, I guess it's, like, more than that if you count Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus, but, like, dude. Fuck. Isaac Repentance is so good. It really, like, brought back my love for Binding of Isaac as a game. This is also the most recent game on the list. Because Isaac Repentance is, like, not that old. It came out, like, 2021. That's, like, nothing. And yet still, I can, like, tell. And it's, like, partially because it's an expansion to an older game that I can tell that it is something special. You know? Alright. We've had enough serious talks. We've had enough serious discussions about what these games mean to me. But honestly, the most transparent thing I can put on this list, I love Tomodachi Life. Like, duh. Tomodachi Life is fucking good, man. It's like such a simple concept. Just put all your Miis in a little apartment and have them do whatever the fuck. How the fuck have I put 500 plus hours into this game? I'm just addicted to adding little Miis and having them be friends with each other and do their little things. It's so fucking good, man. Tomodachi Life is a banger. You can't, like, I cannot believe that we do not have a Switch sequel to this game yet. Because, like, Tomodachi Life is fucking fun as fuck, dude. Tomodachi Life is so good. And, like, with the expanded Mii Maker, we could get so much. I'm, like, I can't even, like, fully discuss this game, because it's just gonna be, like, how the fuck does this game not have a sequel? It's, like, so good. But, yeah, I spent so much time just making funny Miis, putting them on the island, seeing how they interact with each other, giving them presents, doing my dailies to get all the clothes and stuff. Like, fuck, dude. Tamagotchi Life is just, like... Everybody else is like, oh my god, Animal Crossing is, like, the best Nintendo casual game. Not for my money, man. Not for my fucking money. It's Tamagotchi Life, man. What can I say? What can I fucking say? I gotta think long and hard of what to follow up Tamagotchi Life with. You know what? We're going for another goof pick. A little bit. We're going for another goof pick that I'm also, like, so sure, like, deserves to be on this list. WarioWare Smooth Moves is one of the best Wii games, and it's, like, not even close. What a, like, perfect showcase of what the Nintendo Wii can do. There is, like, no game that, like, justifies its existence as, like, a waggle fest better than WarioWare Smooth Moves. And it's, like, so infinitely replayable. It's, like... It's only, like, if you just breeze through the story of WarioWare Smooth Moves, it's, like, an hour long, but it is WarioWare shove it up your own ass game. True. You can just keep going with this game, man. I replay this game at least once a year. Almost certainly more, because it's just... You spend a good hour just having a good time with it, man. You just spend an hour having a good time with it. And it's like, ugh. It's so fun. It's like, this is a pick that is just like, it's pure fun, man. And like, the Wario cast is like so goofy and fun. I love it. I love it, man. Now, we've got a lot of Nintendo on this list, so I think it's only fair that I give Sony a little more time in the sun. Dude. Jammer Lammy, though. Jammer Lammy, though. Okay, so Parappa the Rapper 1. It's a good game. It's a good game. You have fun little raps that you can, you know, kind of freestyle around if you're good at it. You probably won't be, though, because Parappa 1 is really fucking hard. Okay. So what do you do for a sequel? Or maybe, like, I guess we could call it a spin-off. But honestly, I feel like Jammer Lammy is just straight up a sequel. Okay. Play a character with a guitar. Alright? Give us some of the greatest jams on the PS1, man. Have you fucking heard the song that plays while you're in hell? Jammer Lammy's story is, like, fucking insane. It's like a 7-stage game and it goes all over the place. You ride on an airplane, you have a chainsaw in a forest, you go to hell, you play a concert. And, like, it's like a really, like, it's got a very striking visual style for the PS1. I mean, this is very true of Parappa 1 as well. I mean, the flat, like, character, like, models with, like, the 3D backgrounds and stuff, it's so cool. And Rodney Greenblatt's art is, like, iconic. It's actually very funny to say this. My uncle is a huge Rodney Greenblatt fan, to the point where I, like, talked about, like, Parappa to him, and he knew what it was because he was a big Rodney Greenblatt fan. He has, like, Rodney Greenblatt paintings in, like, his house. And I mean, his artwork is so good. And just, like, it's a rhythm game, so the music is very important, and it fucking delivers. There's not a single song from this OST that I don't love. And you know what? It's like I said it was 7 stages. It's actually like 13, because you get to play 6 of those stages as Parappa, and do, like, rap versions of those stages. Jammer Lammy is a bigger video game than Parappa 2. It is the biggest game in the Parappa series. I miss this series so much, but Jammer Lammy, it's a good one, man. If you haven't played it, and you're, like, interested in the world of Parappa at all, you should. You should honestly play all of them, though, because all 3 of them are great. I mean, I think Parappa 1 is honestly the weakest one, but Jammer Lammy and Parappa 2, you're gonna have a good time, man. You're gonna have a good time. Alright. Alright. So there, I have my variety obligations out of the way. I feel like it's time for our first, like, pseudo repeat. I mean, you could argue that WarioWare was kind of a repeat of Mario, but this one is definitely a repeat for Mario. And you know what? I'm gonna, like, right away, I don't even have to think about it, because I know this is also going to be on the list. Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Man, oh man. Let's start with Mario Kart Wii. Probably the Wii game that I put the most time in as a kid. Now, Mario Kart Wii is like, you know, it doesn't really have like a single-player campaign in the way that like DS does. But there was something about the way the tracks were ordered that still made it feel like, to like little baby Morgan, like, I'm going on a fucking adventure, man. I'm going on a fucking adventure. I'm, like, in this world, you know? Mario Kart Wii, to this day, I think has the best track selection of any Mario Kart game. And it's got fun, jank physics. You can't not like fun, jank physics, you know? It's, like, janky, but not in a way where, like, a casual, like, person just playing and, like, not really like, maybe they're playing Mario Kart Wii for the first time. It's not janky in a way where they wouldn't understand, you know? It still works, like, basically as intended, and is still, like, completely understandable. It's just also that you can, if you really try hard enough, you can climb up a wall, if you figure out the right angle for it. It's just, man, Mario Kart Wii is so cool. And, like, it's only gotten better with time. It's been a while since I really brought up, like, a game mod. But, like, people have made so many fucking custom tracks for this game. You could probably get 1,000,000 hours just out of playing Custom Track GP alone. But you gotta check out some of the other stuff, too, because there are people who have been putting out crazy custom tracks. I've really been wanting to check out Mario Kart Midnight. That's been a big one I've been wanting to check out. But just, like, dude. People love the Mario Kart Wii engine, for a good reason. And it's got Toad's Factory, you know? You can't complain about Toad's Factory. But yeah, fuck. Oh shit, my Pokemon Center package will arrive soon. Wait, I ordered that like yesterday, let's go. Thank you, Pikachu, for the mail. But yeah, Mario Kart Wii is like unmatched. It's, like, probably the most modded Wii game, for sure. And for, like, good reason. The Mario Kart Wii engine is fucking good. I mean, people love playing it for a reason. It's got fucked up item balance. But honestly, I think that's part of the charm. If you, like, love Mario Kart Wii, you kind of love how chaotic the item balance is. Now, on the opposite end, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I love it. I love it. It's like... Listen, Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, I played the fuck out of that too. I liked it a lot. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, when I got to actually experience the DLC tracks, holy shit. What a game. What a game. It is really coming to its own. Like, it is I think it is deserving of being one of the best-selling video games ever. Just because, like, it is, like, so understandable to everyone, and there's so much to bite into now. It's got, like, fucking, like, almost 96 tracks now. It will be 96 when the DLC finishes. You got all these characters. The character roster is looking much better than it did at launch. Dude, original Mario Kart 8's original roster was so fucking dire. And, like, Mario Kart 8 kind of made the comeback of the century in that regard. Funky Kong is fucking back, dude. And I don't think, like, in general, like, I would say that, like, Mario Kart 8 does not reach the same highs in terms of like, track roster as, like, Mario Kart Wii. But it's still, like, good. There's a lot of good tracks in Mario Kart 8. I think there's a lot of good DLC tracks, too. I think, like, especially with the DLC in mind, this game has, like, the best variety in any Mario Kart game. I think that Mario Kart Wii has the best track list, but, like, Mario Kart Wii, or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, like, a little easier to sink more time into, just because there's, like, 3 times as many tracks, man. And, like, you know, even, like, the not-so-great Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tracks are still, like, relatively fun to play. I wouldn't turn down a game of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at any time, you know? It's fucking good, dude. It's really fucking good. Mario, but, like... Man, it's just... It's so good. And I own 55 million copies of it. Please help. Please fucking help. I'm gonna bankrupt myself. But yeah, those are your repeats. You've been watching 6 different streams all at once. What's life like over here? I'm just discussing some of my favorite video games of all time. Pretty much. Just, like, kinda just, like, figuring out, like, what would be on the favorite games bingo. And we're making good progress. We're making good progress. No, we got 14 games. We got a lot more slots. The RE4 DLC is out? Fuck. Minecraft ain't on here? I would have to think about if Minecraft is on here. Oh yeah, it's out! Hell yeah! I'm gonna add this to cart then. We will be streaming this tomorrow because there is no way I'm pivoting, like, not even halfway through this list. Fuck that. But we will be playing it tomorrow, probably. Maybe. I'll let you know. You know what, Splee? You know what, Splee? You're right. You're right. We gotta get a little more indie blood on here, and, like... Celeste is... maybe the most a video game has ever, like, touched me emotionally. Celeste came out at the exact right time. I was, like, 17 in high school when Celeste came out. And at first I wasn't sure about it, you know? I wasn't even sure I wanted to play it, because, like, my ex at the time was telling me, like, oh, you should play Celeste. And I was like, why am I listening to you? Why the fuck am I listening to you? You're my ex. Fuck that. I've talked about my own mental health on stream before. And, like, it's important to preface this with, I am in such a better place, like, emotionally and, like, mentally. Just, like, I'm fine now. Do I have some days where I feel a little off? Yeah. But doesn't everybody? But, like, when I was 17, like, man, every little inconvenience felt like the end of the fucking world. And, like, I didn't know what the fuck was the point of going on anymore. I would get, like, a fucking shitty grade, and I'd be like, well, I have to die. If I don't die, I'll have to face the consequences of having a shitty grade. And I'm too miserable to face those consequences. But just, like, playing Celeste and, like, seeing it be this, like, story about, like, anxiety and depression. Two things that I have faced, like, nearly all my life. And just having it be so, like, emotionally honest and real about it. Just, like... It flipped a switch. It flipped a switch. Genuinely, I feel like my life as a teenager has, like, a pre-Celeste phase and a post-Celeste phase. Because, like, post-Celeste, it gave me, like, an understanding of my own mental health that, like, nothing else had. You know? I felt seen in the best way possible, you know? I felt like, holy shit, the people who made this game, like, understand what I've been through. And when you're a fucking teenager, you never feel like that. You feel everything is, like, so isolating to you, and, like, you're so lost in your own world that a piece of art could touch me so deeply when I'm so deep into this depressive state. Celeste, like, no exaggeration, did so much for me. It came at the exact right point in my time. And, like, I think I was at that point in my mental health journey where I would have made it there eventually. But I think playing Celeste genuinely helped speed up the process. It really gave me a better understanding of, like, myself. This is the same song we've already heard. Get out of here. Get out of here. What song do I play? Area Zero. It gave me a better understanding of my whole, like, deal. And it's just... It is a fucking fun game, too. Like, I'm not the kind of person who, like, could ever get good enough to do, like, all the B-sides and C-sides in Chapter 9, but... Sometimes, I just feel like replaying Celeste, re-experiencing that story, and just... It's a cathartic experience for me. It is a video game that very consistently makes me feel catharsis. In, like, the best way possible. I get all teary-eyed, and just, I feel like, man, you know what? I've made it so far already. Let's keep going. Celeste is an all-timer. Celeste is an all-timer. Does Gmod count as a game? It kinda does. You know what? You know what? I don't know what the fuck this is. Hold on. Now, Gmod itself is, like, hard to quantify, but I can tell you for a fact, you know, I said TF2 is one of the most fun multiplayer games I've ever played. You know what's exactly number 2? You would actually be surprised that it's not Mario Kart. It's Trouble in Terrorist Town. It's Trouble in Terrorist Town. Trouble in Terrorist Town is the perfect Gmod game mode. I fucking love Trouble in Terrorist Town so much. I would lay down everything to play Trouble in Terrorist Town right now. Dude, like, genuinely, I would lay down my life. So, like, you guys know Among Us, right? Among Us. Imagine Among Us, but you, shoot guns, and you can shoot someone at any point for any reason. But you gotta be careful to make sure your karma doesn't go down, because otherwise you ain't shooting shit. That's Trouble in Terrorist Town. It's that kind of detective game, but with, like, Half-Life weapons and shit. And it's just fucking fun. This is, like, one of those picks on this list that is there purely for the fun factor. It is so fucking fun to go on a killing spree and, like, feel like you're at the top of the world as a trader, even if it can be taken away at any point by one player, like, figuring out your stupid fucking ruse. Or even by a player just, like, having a mild suspicion and being trigger happy, you know? It's so fun. I find it much more enjoyable than Among Us. I still think Among Us is good, but it doesn't, like, it does not have that same chaotic energy of Trouble in Terrorist Town. It also doesn't have that same dreadful energy when you're, like, the last person alive. Because, like, in Among Us, if you're the last person alive, guess what? The imposter already won. The game just tells you, oh, imposters win, bitch. But in Trouble in Terrorist Town, it goes down to the fucking wire, man. It goes down to the fucking wire. Definitely the Gmod game mode that I played the most. By far. I probably put hundreds of hours into Trouble in Terrorist Town alone. Because it is so fucking fun, dude. Again, this is like a fun pick. This is a pick that is just from pure fun. Because, you know, video games are games. They should be fun. They don't have to be. But I think that they're better if they are, for the most part. Again, where was this song when I was actually talking about Fire Emblem Echoes? We're like 10 games off or something. But yeah, Trouble in Terrorist Town is fun. Good ass game mode. And like, you could say it's cheating, but isn't Binding of Isaac Repentance also kind of cheating? Have I not already, like, kind of cheated on this list? So it's fine. It's literally fine, guys. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna do another repeat. But I feel it in my soul. I feel it in my soul. And it's also a game that I have been replaying very recently. And you know what? I'm gonna say straight up, this is also a fun pick. But it's not purely because it's fun. You know? I mean, it's mostly because it's fun, but it's for a lot of different reasons. Super Mario 3D World is in contention for my favorite 3D Mario. And you know what? We'll add the other one real quick. There's a lot of Mario on this list, but can you blame me? Mario is fucking good. Alright? Mario is fucking good. But, Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario 64 are in, like, a very close competition for what would be my favorite 3D Mario. Now, 3D World itself is, like... It's if a 2D Mario was 3D, basically. It is pure Mario in its purest essence. And for some people, they might think, oh, Super Mario 3D World must be a little bland. Couldn't be further from the fucking truth. Like, listen, am I gonna try and argue that Super Mario 3D World is on the same level of craziness as, like, Mario Wonder? No, probably not, but... Man... like... I just, like, in my mind, every single level of Super Mario 3D World is burned into it. Because all of the levels are so good and so fucking fun. And they have, like, really nice theming, too. I mean, like, I could praise how fucking awesome World Bowser is as a finale all day. But I also really like the looks of the snow levels, the desert levels. These, like, general level themes. But, like, 3D World puts, like, a very nice spin on them. It all looks fucking great. And it's, like, nice that there is, like, a good Wii U game out there. I'm glad that someone had the gall to make a good Wii U game. And it's even better on the Switch. You know, you got the increased speed. You have online multiplayer with friends. You have Bowser's Fury, if you're into that. Mario 3D World is so, like, packed with, like, so much fun shit. Like, that's the thing. Mario 3D World is, like, not a padded experience. I don't think. Like, you can maybe try and argue that, like, the actual quest for 100% itself is padded out. But, like, dude, you can get Champions Road without doing that. If you really just want to play through every level in the game, you can do Champions Road without doing, like, literally everything in the video game. But you have to beat every level, and you have to get, like, all the green stars, but, like, dude, let's be mature here. Big Band for Mario is such a natural fit, it feels like this series should have been using forever. Literally, the fucking soundtrack, man! I'm gonna say it straight up, there is no Mario soundtrack that is as good as Super Mario 3D World. Super Mario 3D World has the best Mario soundtrack. Also, like, all 3 playable characters are fun. I'm glad they did, like, the Mario 2, like, style again of, like, character selection. Because, like, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad all have their, like, fun attributes in this game. I mean, Mario himself is honestly probably the least interesting character to play as, but he's so fucking fun. You know? And Rosalina! I almost forgot about playable Rosalina in the post-game. Yeah, there's 5 characters. It's just, man, Mario 3D World is a good one. I think if you're the kind of person who played Mario 3D World and thought it was kind of bland, I recommend you go back and play it again. You might be surprised. If you've, like, seen Mario Wonder and you think that looks really cool, play Mario 3D World. It's got a lot of, like, cool, fun shit in it, too. And it's got a lot of, like, fun little levels and, like, aesthetics and such. There's a whole Mario Kart-themed level. It's good. And Super Mario 64. I'm actually surprised it took me this long to put it on there, but I was trying to avoid repeats for a bit. But, like, Super Mario 64 is, like... It's Nintendo's version of the Sonic Adventure in Final Fantasy VII. It is the game of that generation for Nintendo. Like, Super Mario 64 is, like, so fucking good. It is, like, such a nice-looking N64 game. It feels like a dream to control. Like, listen, Mario 64 is a little jank, but once you understand how to play Mario 64, it's hard to go back, man. It's maybe some of the best that Mario feels. I would say the only game where Mario feels better is, like, Odyssey. But I don't think Odyssey's level design feels as strong as Mario 64's. And, like, I gotta say it straight up, I think that Mario 64 has the, like, best 100%. The reason Sonic Adventure gets so much shit, despite being better than a lot of transitions to 3D, is because Mario 64 is so good. Oh yeah, like, Mario 64, like, they fucking nailed it. They fucking nailed how Mario was supposed to be in 3D. They pulled it off like it was nothing. And obviously it wasn't literally nothing, but, like, Nintendo made it feel like it was fucking nothing because it's, like, so flawless in its execution. And, like, really, I gotta be honest, it does not feel as dated as you would think. Like, I gotta be honest, I think Mario 64 feels better to play than Sunshine. I think that I feel like FLUDD is more jank than how Mario controls in Mario 64. That's probably a hot take. That's probably a hot take that people are like, whoa, Morgan, slow down. But it's honestly how I feel. It's just, it's fucking good. It's fucking good. And it's like the only 100% 3D Mario that doesn't feel bad. You know? Even like Galaxy, which is another game I love. And like, honestly, if I like go down the list more and I like feel like, you know what? I can't name a game I would love more than Galaxy, I would probably put it on here too. Main gripe is just the weird turnaround Mario does sometimes, which might just be an emulation problem? Maybe. I do see that getting in the way a little bit. But man, Mario 64 is fucking good. It's a good one. They really, like, nailed 3D Mario, like, immediately. I really do think I think it's better than Sunshine. I think it's better than Galaxy. I think it's better than Odyssey. It has a hidden Yoshi. They hide him. They don't want you to see him. But yeah, it's fucking good, man. It's fucking good. And you know what? You know what? Let's get another N64 game in here. You want to know what, like, honestly, in terms of aesthetics, would be my game of this, like, generation with, like, Mario 64 and, like, Sonic Adventure and Final Fantasy VII? You know what game is, like, perfect aesthetically? Kirby 64. Kirby 64 is, like, probably my favorite Kirby game. It definitely is. It's on this list for a reason, but, like... Listen, it's already a really fun Kirby game. It has this really fun combine mechanic that feels a lot more fulfilling than, like, the other mechanics they were doing in, like, that specific style of Kirby. And just, like... It is such a gorgeous, low-poly game, it's crazy. Like... I'm gonna keep it real. There is no, like, game from that generation that has vibes as immaculate as Kirby 64. This is a little bit of a weird pick because it's purely, like, a vibes pick, man. Like, the game itself is fun as fuck and I could replay it over and over, but also, like, the vibes, dude. Holy shit. The music, the looks... The story. Listen to this song. Just take it in. Like, dude. Kirby 64, man. It just... It feels right. It feels like home. It's, like, hard to describe because, you know, it really is, like, a pick from just, like, pure charm. But it's, like, even if it wasn't pure charm, it's a fucking fun video game. I always, whenever I play it now, though, I just do the cheat where you can get 100%, though, because I don't actually like the Crystal Shard Hunt. But that's okay, because I don't like 100%ing Super Mario 3D World, and I would still, like, put that in contention with Mario 64. So it's fucking fine, okay? It's fucking fine. But yeah, Kirby 64 is great. I can't recommend it enough. If you've enjoyed any of Kirby's adventures, you will enjoy Kirby 64. This one is another one that's gonna be, like, maybe a little heavier to talk about. So I am, like, straight up, like, if you are uncomfortable with mentions of suicide, close your ears for a bit, wait until you see the next game, and you'll be okay. I played Mother 3 for the first time when I was 12 years old. I was, like, a baby, basically. I was half the age I am now. And, like, I had gone through some shit, man. There was a family friend who was, like, very kind to me, and very nice, and treated me really well, who ended up, like, committing suicide when I was, like, 11. And, like, a lot of, like, my own mental health problems are specifically because of that. Because that is a fucking insane, traumatic event for, like, a kid to go through. And, like, that's a fucking traumatic event for an adult to go through, let alone a fucking kid. Being that young and experiencing that, yeah, no shit, a switch flipped in my head where I was in fucking miserable mode for many years. You know? That's, like, something crazy. And just, like... Out of the blue, I watched, like, Chugga Conroy's Mother 3 Let's Play. And just, like... You guys know what I'm talking about with the ending. Where Klaus just shoots that bolt of lightning at Lucas to end it. I cried my fucking eyes out. And, like, Mother 3, out of all the games on this list, is the hardest one for me to go back to. But it's not because I detest the game for depicting something like that. It's because, like, it brings me back to that time, and I just get so fucking relieved that life isn't like that anymore. You know, it's another game that just makes me cry, and just hits so close to home. And that's not even to talk about, like, the other shit in the game. Like, Mother 3 is just a really fucking good video game. It's maybe one of the best JRPGs ever. And, like, not enough people have played it, obviously, because you have to do the fan translation. Would I love to see a translation for it, just so it's, like, a little more easily accessible to the general public? Yeah, probably. I don't think it's necessary, because I feel like a lot of people who really wanted to play Mother 3 have played it, but, it's such a good JRPG, and it makes me feel vulnerable, but not in a way where it's, like, bad. Like, it doesn't make me feel vulnerable, and, like, I'm really uncomfortable about it. It's, like, I can feel the kid inside me when I play it, and that little kid, who is all sad and miserable, is just so happy that life isn't like that anymore. And I can appreciate what a beautiful piece of art Mother 3 is. From the gameplay, to the aesthetics, to the music, to the story. It's probably the only Mother game that I would say has a very compelling narrative. Even, like, during its, like, low, like, points for the story, it's still, like, you want to see it all the way through. You want to see how this ends, you want to see how things go for Lucas, you want things to be okay. And you know what? Even if things aren't 100% okay, based on the ending of Mother 3 that you experience, things are never going to be the same again. But that's okay. That's okay, you know? Life is still worth going on and, like, helping each other make a better world, you know? We only have each other in this world, so we should be good to each other. That's what Mother 3 means to me. Alright, I need to come up with a goofy pick, because that was probably the most serious discussion I had. I feel like that was more serious than the Celeste talk. And the next game on the list, Uno! I will go with a more lighthearted pick this time. This is gonna be an indie pick. And it's probably gonna be an indie pick you can expect, just based on, like, looking at this list. Like, you can kind of tell. I'm a platformer person. I like a good platformer in my life. And man, I don't think I've played an Indie 3 platformer nearly as good as A Hat in Time. A Hat in Time is fucking great, man. You want to talk about games that are just, like, pure fun? A Hat in Time is that. And, like, A Hat in Time is not a game that really has, like, a super serious story at all. But it does a good job of making you, like, really get invested in the world and, like, seeing these, like, goofball characters do their thing. It's, like, a little, like, cynical in that, like, basically none of these characters are good people. Like, Hat Kid is, like, selfish and just wants the time gears, or the timepieces to go home. Mustache Girl really just wants to kill a bunch of Mafia dudes. The Mafia is the Mafia. Snatcher loves stealing souls. The two directors are, like, super selfish and always trying to one-up each other. But, like, they're just, like, fun. It's like some Looney Tunes shit. You just, like, see these dudes do wacky shit, and you're like, you know what? This is awesome. This is alright. It's crazy that this game barely has a story, And yet it's not a game where I necessarily feel like skipping the dialogue, because it's, like, consistently entertaining and funny. And it gets, like, a lot of, like, really good level themes out of, like, 5 worlds. 6 if you include the final story. 8 if you include the DLCs. And, like, fuck, with the DLCs, you could tell they upped the production values. I am very excited if Gears for Breakfast ever puts out another, like, 3D platformer. Because, like, they're gonna have so much more money to make, like, a crazier experience. A Hat in Time is just fucking fun, man. That's a good-ass 3D platformer. If you like 3D platformers, and you haven't played A Hat in Time, you owe it to yourself. It's like the indie 3D platformer. I think it's fucking good, man. I think it's fucking good. Alright. I'm trying to think what I would place next. That's tough. That's tough. You know what? You know what? We're kind of going... Let's go with another lighthearted pick, because I still don't feel like we fully recovered from Mother 3 talk. Let's go with another lighthearted one. And this is, like... This is an interesting pick, because if you asked me a few years ago, this would not have been even close to up here. But, since playing this game on my Steam Deck with a not shit control scheme, man, Kid Icarus Uprising is a good one. Kid Icarus Uprising is, like, one of Nintendo's more wild releases. In general. Like, okay, first of all, it's a Sakurai game that isn't Smash. Okay, he's made a few of those, you know, he used to dabble with Kirby. He used to be a HAL Laboratory employee, but once he started doing Smash, he wasn't doing a whole lot else. Okay, so that's interesting. Revival of an NES series that reasonably not a lot of people give a shit about. Who the fuck cared about Kid Icarus before Sakurai got his mitts on it? It was like maybe a few like NES kids and that was it. And even then, like if you asked like an NES enthusiast like some of their favorite NES games, like yeah, you might get Kid Icarus after maybe like 10, 20 games. But it was never gonna be in, like, the top 5, you know? There's a lot of NES games that are much more iconic than Kid Icarus. So that's already a little goofy. Put it on the 3DS? Okay. Fuck the Wii U. Why is this one of the best games ever? Why is this game, like, 3 video games, and it's still, like, it doesn't feel like it gets crushed by its own ambition? Like, man, Kid Icarus Uprising, honestly, more than, like, any Smash Brothers game, really shows the strength of Sakurai as a director, because I think a weaker director would have made Kid Icarus Uprising worse. I think if you had a worse director, Kid Icarus Uprising would be a footnote. It would be like a weird little oddity. But no, Kid Icarus Uprising is really good and really fun, and yeah, it's like barely even like the older games. It is like in a completely different, like, third-person shooter style, and it's like fucking good, man. It's like really fucking good. Like, holy shit. Like, okay, obviously the biggest hurdle is the control scheme. I have a Steam Deck, though, so I never have to play it with that control scheme. And man, when you play Kid Icarus Uprising without having to worry about your hands cramped, oh my god, it is so fucking fun. Honestly, I could see why it would be worth the hand cramps, because it is so fucking fun, you know? And, like, they just reimagined these characters in this world to be so fucking fun and funny. It's, like, kind of a weird meta-narrative, but it works, you know? It, like, works, and is fun. Yeah, there's, like, all kinds of mods out there. You know, I've been talking about how mods, like, impact my enjoyment of some of these games. Kid Icarus Uprising is, like, the, poster child for that. Remember one of your friends from 8th grade talking about how much Uprising hurt his hand, but he always praised the game? Because it's just, like, fucking good. It is, like, so good. All the characters are such a delight on camera. Like, even when, like, a joke in Kid Icarus Uprising doesn't land, they just hit you with, like, another, like, 2 or 3 jokes that are like, oh, that was pretty funny, actually. That was pretty good. And at the very least, you're never bored. Kid Icarus Uprising is never a boring game. And it's always just, like, raising the stakes in the most random way possible, which I do not say as a downside. That is a good thing. It is, like, Kid Icarus Uprising, just, like, shit happens, and Pit just has to fucking deal with it. He gets turned into a fucking ring at some point. He didn't even learn how to read, alright? He doesn't know how to read. Palutena is a treat. Hades fucking steals the show whenever he's on screen. Hades is, like, one of the best Nintendo villains, honestly. He just gets so many good lines in that game. This is one of your personal games that got you through a rough time, so a game this funny was real nice to have. Yeah. It's just... And you know what? It's like a meta-narrative made by someone who loves video games. So it's like... when you play it and it has, like, all these meta elements, it's not trying to be, like, a fucking parody. It's not trying to be like, haha, isn't it stupid when video games does this? It, like, loves it. I mean, Sakurai is a guy who loves video games, so a game that he directs is going to show a lot of love for video games. And obviously, like, Sakurai is not the only person involved. Kid Icarus Uprising had a very talented staff on board. But I will never downplay how strong of a director Sakurai is. He knows his shit. He does it well. Yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising is so fucking fun, dude. Kid Icarus Uprising is fucking fun. You know what? Let's go with another 3DS pick. Some of you probably anticipated this. You probably thought it was going to be the first in this series that I mentioned, but it wasn't. Fire Emblem Awakening. Fire Emblem Awakening is a game that has its problems. But when I replayed it this year, I realized, man, none of those problems are bad enough for me to not love the shit out of this game. It still has, like, such a fun cast of characters that I cannot get enough of. It still has, like, a stronger narrative than I remember it having, honestly. Is it, like, cheesy? Yeah, but it's fun. It's a fun narrative. And you know what? It gets some really good moments in there that are, like, really iconic. And, like, yeah, like, on the harder difficulties, man, Fire Emblem Awakening will still put you to the test. If you play on baby mode, then yeah, you're gonna get an easy experience, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it makes it very accessible as a Fire Emblem game. For a lot of people, this was their first Fire Emblem. It was my first Fire Emblem, and I easily understood it, and I was able to make it all the way through. I had a bunch of people die, but, you know, I understood the game enough to be able to beat it. And that's cool. But Fire Emblem Awakening is great. I think it's got a great art style. It's like... it feels like very feature-packed. Because they thought that Fire Emblem Awakening would be the end of the series. And honestly, with how much shit they put into Awakening, including, like, DLC and stuff, Awakening honestly feels like a bigger game to me than Fates does. And Fates has, like, 3 separate stories. does make you wish that some of the refinements from Fates were in Awakening to make some of the shit more bearable. It's such a shame that they never made a game that wasn't necessarily a sequel, but made reference to it and skipped straight to Echoes. True. So true. But yeah, Fire Emblem Awakening is like a game I played so much as a teenager, for like a good reason. It's just fucking fun, dude. It's fun. It's got a really iconic cast of characters. I love it. I love it. And also, I stole my name from one of the characters from the game, so that's gotta mean something. That's gotta mean something. Motherfucker Morgan wouldn't exist without Fire Emblem Awakening. So next time you want to make fun of Tharja, just think about that real quick. And then still make fun of Tharja, because she sucks. We voted her ass off the island. Alright? We can make fun of her as much as we want. Alright. I cannot believe that I have not put this game on here yet, honestly. Honestly, it's kind of crazy that I avoided this game for this long. Donkey Kong Country 2 is one of the best 3D platformers ever made. 2D platformers, sorry. Did I say 2D? I don't fucking remember. Donkey Kong Country 2 is like... This is another example of a game that is so of its time, and it's like perfect. The visual style, I fucking adore it. Some people might think it looks dated and weird, but I like... It gives the series such a strong identity, and like, Donkey Kong Country 2 goes off the rails in ways that DKC1 does not do, you know? Like, Donkey Kong Country 2 has, like, so much shit in it that, like, would have never happened in DKC1. DKC1 is a very grounded game, and, like, DKC2 is still grounded in a sense, but it's not like these lush jungles that you're going through. You're going through King K. Rool's island, and facing the Kremlings, and, like, you go to amusement parks, and these giant beehives, and these beautiful ice caves, and it's just... Every level is a fucking treat, man. Every level in this game is so much fucking fun. And it has some of the best music on the Super Nintendo, dude. I mean, David Wise's soundtracks are, like, some of my favorite in all of video games. Honestly. It's so fucking good. And you know what? You know what? I think that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is just as good as DKC2, if not better. Tropical Freeze is a fucking fantastic game, dude. If you have not played Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, fix that. Alright? Tropical Freeze is, like, also straight up one of the best 2D platformers to ever come out. Like, I played a game that was very similar to it, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and I think that game is good. It is not as good as Tropical Freeze, man. It, like, it tries. It really does, and it's a great game. Holy shit, dude. Tropical Freeze, though? Like, every level in that game is, like, so iconic to me, and I can, like, see them with my, like, I memorized those maps like the back of my hand, because I, like, 200%ed this game. I played this game all the way on fucking hard mode, because I had that much fun with it. And it's fucking gorgeous. It's, like, one of the best looking Wii U games. probably the single best looking Wii U game. It's so gorgeous, and just so fucking good, dude. Fucking hell, man. Tropical Freeze, you've probably heard many platformer enthusiasts, like, champion it and say, like, yeah, this is a good one. It's, like, really fucking good, man. You owe it to yourself to play it. Alright. This is gonna be a little bit of a curveball pick. But I feel like it's probably good to do this, because this is looking very Nintendo-centric. Which is, that's just how I am. That's how I'm always gonna be. It is what it is. But, like, dude, you know what game I can't get enough of? Fucking Guitar Hero 3. Talk about an iconic setlist and, like, iconic, like, locales in this, like, game. I feel like Guitar Hero 3 is, like, the last game in the Guitar Hero series right before, like, Activision just was like, okay, let's release, like, 5 of these a year and see how that goes. You know, it feels like it's right before, like, Guitar Hero fatigue starts to set in, and they start making all this shit. And it's like, it's a shame that that's how Guitar Hero went. Because Guitar Hero is fun. And, like, I grew up on a lot of, like, the songs that, like, my dad enjoyed. So, like, this kind of, like, old-style rock and roll, like, all these songs from, like, ranging from the 60s to the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. It's got some jams. It's got some jams. It has a fucking hardcore version of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. For no fucking reason. But it's also, like, one of the best final bosses I've ever played. I fucking hate that Activision ruined this series, because, man, I wish we were still getting, like, Guitar Hero games every now and then. Because Guitar Hero is fucking fun, dude. It's a cool, fun rhythm game. And I love the rock and roll genre. In all its little sub-genres, like psych rock and metal and, like, fucking, like, I could go on for ages. It is very unique. I mean, people have made careers out of being good at Guitar Hero. It's like, it's a good-ass rhythm game. It really is. I think Guitar Hero 3 is, like, so fucking good. It's definitely my favorite Guitar Hero. And, like, it is purely just based on, like, nostalgia a little bit. Because there might be some other Guitar Hero games that have, like, slightly better set lists, or, like, better, like, you know... like, not songs themselves, but because that's already the set list. I mean, like... better, like... What's like the actual, like, gameplay part of Guitar Hero called? You know, the, like, the levels. What are those called? And don't say songs, that's the smart-ass answer. That's you being a wisecracker. The charts, yes! There are probably Guitar Hero games that maybe have better charts, but for my money, Guitar Hero 3. Guitar Hero 3 all the fucking way, man. I love that shit. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I've gone all this time without talking about more Pokemon games. Can you believe that I had the restraint to not talk about more Pokemon games? Well, we're finally gonna break that silence. Now, I am like an unabashed Generation 3 fan. I mean, you saw it. Pokemon Emerald is my literal favorite game of all time. But make no mistake, I love, like, basically everything Gen 3 related. So, like, it's happening, you know, on this list. Hold on. I'm doing it the way Wikipedia puts it. Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green. Now, you may look at Pokemon Colosseum and be like, whoa, what the fuck, Morgan? Why didn't you put XD Gale of Darkness? It's so much better. And listen, in terms of gameplay, you're completely right. Pokemon XD is probably a better game overall than Pokemon Colosseum. And I love Pokemon XD. I don't think I'd put it on this same list. At the very least, I would not place it above any of the video games that I have on here already. But Pokemon XD is really good. Pokemon Colosseum is like one of the coolest games I have ever played. I honestly, like... People have ragged on Pokemon's Colosseum story for not reaching the potential it had with, like, that intro. And I can understand that. I do understand that. I think Pokemon Colosseum excels in its atmosphere. I think that Pokemon Colosseum, like, really makes you feel like you're in this fucking, like, shady, horrible region to live in that's just, like, basically, like, ruled silently by this fucking criminal organization, handing out these Pokemon that have been corrupted at their very hearts. Like, yeah, could the story be better? Absolutely. But it is, like, probably the best Pokemon game atmospherically. I gotta be honest. I think, like, Pokemon Colosseum, like, is the perfect, like, atmospheric experience in terms of Pokemon. And it is true, it is pretty slow, but I'm also like, dude, I'm glad we got 2 games in this style where they're, like, double battles. Because, like, Pokemon's never really had another, like, game that just focuses on doubles, which is kind of crazy, right? Because the official Pokemon competitive format is a doubles format, but Colosseum and XD are the only games where it's all double battles. That's kind of crazy, and it, like, helps you, like, create these, like, very unique strategies, especially with these Pokemon that, you gotta be honest, Pokemon Colosseum has a lot of shit mons that you get a lot of good usage out of. And, like, you can say, like, oh, you can't really do that. Listen. Plusle was one of the best members of my team in this game. Fucking Plusle. And you know what? I didn't even struggle that hard. Because, like, I was smart about my strategies. Alright? Colosseum may ask a little bit more from you, but that's alright. Wanna get into Ore Colosseum? Hell yeah. It's literally the precursor to VGC. Literally. But yeah, Colosseum is a lot of fun. I love it. And Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, listen. Everybody knows Kanto. You're probably tired of hearing people talk about Kanto, but the thing is, it's a good region. It really is. It just is. Like, it is, like, maybe the only time before Scarlet and Violet where a Pokemon game was, like, decently open, and it felt organic. Like, I talked about Johto during Emerald Rogue, and, like, Johto is a beautiful aesthetic experience. It tries to be an open game, and what it actually amounts to is that for the mid-game, every Pokemon you encounter is level 16 except the gym leaders. Like, Kanto, like, kind of, like, is structured to be, like, a little linear, but it still gives you the option to kind of, like, open up the game and go in any order you want. And, like, in a sense, I kind of feel like that's better, you know? I kind of feel like that's better. Especially because, like, Kanto sticks very closely to a lot of its, like, type themes. So you can go to, like, a place and be like, okay, a lot of the trainers are gonna have, like, say, like, fighting-type Pokemon. I have a Psychic type, it's not necessarily very strong, but maybe I could do that before taking on all the shit at Celadon, you know? Yeah, after Whitney, you get some wild mons that are, like, 16 to 18, literally. But Fire Red Leaf Green, like, and just Kanto in general, like, you will encounter Pokemon of higher levels, you know? It's not gonna nip you in the ass and be like, hey, we know you could get here. So, here's a baby Pokemon. You know? Kanto is, like, very immaculately designed. And Fire Red Leaf Green, I have a big fondness for it. Where's Splat Game? That's, like... Okay. So... Splatoon itself is interesting. Here's the thing. I am going to put this as a weird pick. I'm putting this as Splatoon series. And you might say, Morgan, that's not fair. That's cheating. Okay? I put Trouble in Terrorist Town. Why do you give a shit? Remember that one Tamashii video where she defended Johto because it was meant to be taken slowly and doing the dailies and stuff? But it does have the end result of either putting all the EXP on one Mon as mandatory or you just grind? Yeah. Well, Tamashii, or Tamahiro, would not like my list, because this game is here. She would not like it that Pokemon Coliseum is here, because I know she fucking hates that game. That's okay. It's not for everyone. I'm not gonna, like, go online and tell her, like, hey, you're wrong for not liking Pokemon Coliseum. You didn't have to call it the worst Pokemon game you've never played, though, because it's the... but I have played it, and it's fun. That seems a little harsh. That seems a little harsh to me. Anyway, Splatoon. Splatoon. You like Coliseum, but her complaints about it are pretty warranted. They are. I can't lie, but... It's not gonna stop me from loving it. It's not gonna stop me from loving it. And you know, there's a lesson to be had there, which is, you don't have to let, internet people dictate your taste, and also you don't have to get mad if they don't agree with you. Just kidding. You should like Pokemon Coliseum because it's cool and awesome, and if you hate it, you're stupid and dumb. Anyway, Splatoon, for real. So here's the thing, I'm lumping Splatoon together as a series because, fundamentally, at their core, like, all three Splatoon entries play pretty closely. If I had to say which one was my current favorite, it would be Splatoon 2. I think it would very easily be Splatoon 2, but it's, like, by a very narrow margin, to be honest. Honestly, what really pushes Splatoon 2 over the edge is, Octo Expansion. Which, who knows, side order could be even better. We'll have to see. But yeah, Splatoon is, like, so much fucking fun. And, like, also, like, straight up has, like, probably my favorite cast of characters ever. Like, I love the Squid Sisters. I love Off the Hook. I'm sure if I played Splatoon 3 single player, I would love Deep Cut. I mean, I already like Big Man. I think he's great. Captain Cuttlefish is, like, fucking bizarre, but he's, like, funny. DJ Octavio, Commander Tartar, the agents. It's a small, contained cast, but man, all of them are, like, so good and so cool, and I like them. And, like, man, Splatoon is, like, really one of a kind in terms of its aesthetics and its music. Like, dude, you can recognize a Splatoon song from a mile away. And for some people, that's not a good thing. But for me, it's like, man, I love those tracks. I love Splatoon's OST. I have a lot of nostalgia for Splatoon 1. I'm having a lot of fun with Splatoon 3. And Splatoon 2 is just fucking good. I think the core Splatoon experience will always just be inherently fun. You know? You will definitely see a stream of it again, once the capture card situation is, solved. But yeah, Splatoon, it's great. I love Splatoon. And it's funny because I mostly just play Turf War. And I'm still like, yeah, Splatoon is one of the best. You know what though? If I was a ranked gamer, I would probably think lower. So it was brought up earlier. And we're back to Pokemon. You were right. But I'm gonna lump it with the original Panel de Pon. This is another cheating. Because it's like, it's just Panel de Pon with a Pokemon skin. But yes, Panel de Pon is fucking good. It's probably my favorite puzzle game, which is crazy because I fucking love Tetris. It's actually crazy that there's not a Tetris game on here already. Panel de Pon is fucking good, dude. I mean, it's like just... This is a pick that is kind of hard to talk about, because here's the thing. Panel de Pon is on here because Panel de Pon is fucking fun. And I like playing it. Alright? It is really not much deeper than that. It is just like a video game that is so much fucking fun. I need to take my meds also. I just realized I didn't do that. I'm gonna be up all night. I was already gonna be up all night because of my nap, so it's fine. We still got quite a few games to go. Anyways. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about Panel de Pon, other than if you like puzzle games and you haven't played Panel de Pon, do it now, bitch. I'm no longer asking, do it now. Alright. We're gonna keep up with the puzzle games. Tetris 99 is the best. Tetris 99 is my favorite version of Tetris. This is the game that made me realize, yo, wait. The Battle Royale style of games is actually quite good. I sunk so many hours into Tetris 99 to get one Tetris Royale, and you know what? I don't regret a second of it, man. It is not a game that feels like a grind, it's a game that feels fucking fun. And it feels, like, even if you only get the one victory, it feels fucking good to get that. Because Tetris is hard. People have gotten very good at Tetris over the years, and I'm not quite to that level, but I still, like, fucking love Tetris. And I respect it so much as, like, a legacy series. Like, Tetris is maybe the most pure a video game series has ever been. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you just, like, think about, like, what is a video game? The image of Tetris could just come into your mind and you'd be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That is, in fact, a video game. It's fucking great, man. Tetris 99 and, like, the Tetris series as a whole is, like, so fucking good. Like, easy recommendation. Dude, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online and you haven't played Tetris 99, I don't know how you're breathing. You honestly, like, kind of scare me. I don't know what you're doing. Alright. We've gotten a lot of repeats for series. And we're gonna make another one. We're gonna make another one. Alright? Now, there are some people who would pit these two games against each other. There are some people who believe that these two games cannot coexist, and that they represent two completely different kinds of Sonic. And in one sense, they're right. But also, like, dude, Sonic Adventure 2 is, like, fucking fun. It has very different strengths from Sonic Adventure, but I still think it's quite strong. For one thing, listen, you've heard it a million times. Is it presented in the best way? Not necessarily, but Sonic Adventure 2's story is, like, very good and very compelling. And I honestly think the only reason that anybody thinks that Sonic Adventure 2 doesn't have that great of a story is because it's, like, very easy to nitpick. Like, it's a very easy game to nitpick, like, oh, why didn't Rouge just tell the government not to blow up the cell? Well, because it would be cooler if Shadow saved her. Duh. Why doesn't Rouge just use her wings when she's falling into the meteor herd thing? Because it would be cooler if Knuckles saved her. I gotta be honest, I still do think it's a great story. You know? I think the story has its problems, but, like, I don't know. I feel like the biggest complaints that people have with Sonic Adventure 2's story always come off as, like, very nitpicky to me. Except that Sonic really could have just grabbed the Chaos Emeralds out of the Eclipse Cannon, if he wanted to, in that one scene. He could have stopped it right then and there, but he was really scared about Tails. I guess he's like 16 though, so it's fine. He's like an impulsive teenager. You know, when you think about it in the context of Sonic being a teenager, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's good though. It's good though. Here's the thing. Here's why I say the strengths and weaknesses are very different between Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Sonic Adventure 1, like, is one of those things, Sonic Adventure 1 has, like, very open level design, because, like, all these levels are very much based around, like, this one, like, all these characters, like, being able to interact with them, even if not literally all of them are playing those levels, but they're, like, made in a way where it's, like, multiple characters could play through it reasonably, even if those characters play very differently. Sonic Adventure 2, like, hones in and, like, becomes this, like, game of, like, it's almost, like, arcade-like in its level design, you know? You're trying to rack up all these points and, like, optimize your route through this game. It's, like, kind of the precursor to, like, the Boost games a little bit, in that, like, Sonic Adventure 2's level design is very much based around, like, optimizing your route, getting the most amount of points you can, doing it fast, and it has a lot of very iconic locales. I mean, who the fuck could forget about the Space Colony arc? Who could forget about the Pyramids of San Francisco? It's like, Sonic Adventure 2 is very fun in a different way to Sonic Adventure 1. Sonic Adventure 1, like, puts you in a world that you want to live in. Sonic Adventure 2 puts you in a world where you want to kill everything in sight. And it is true, Shadow never gets cooler than this game. It is very true. I love Shadow. This is the best incarnation of him still. It's kind of fucked up that the second best interpretation of Shadow the Hedgehog is Sonic 06. Sonic 06 is the video game that I think has the second best interpretation of Shadow the Hedgehog. True. You know what? You're right. It's actually Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and, Sonic 06 is third. But yeah, I love Sonic Adventure 2. Unapologetically. I do like Sonic Adventure 1 quite a bit more. Sonic Adventure 1 has quite a few more charm points for me. And, like, I love the hub worlds and just, like, existing in its world. As much as I also love, like, zipping by and zooming all up and down and all around. But, like, it's good. It's good. And you know what else is good? You know what else is good? And this is, like, a very crunchy JPEG. I don't know why this image is so fucking small. Sonic Generations, man. Listen. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, I think I like more than Generations. I think Generations is a little easier to replay. It's, yeah, literally. What's better than Sonic? 2 Sonics. Sonic Generations is a game where every single level is so fucking fun. Except Planet Wisp. Planet Wisp is kind of whatever. But other than that, Sonic Generations is so fucking fun. It is, like, crazy how it has probably the single best level design and feel out of any of the Boost games. Because it's just old shit. Sonic Generations is a greatest hits album, and it's like, wait, it just reminds you, wait, Sonic the Hedgehog is fucking good. Sonic the Hedgehog is fucking good, man. It's, like, so much fun. It really is. I just, like, classic Sonic plays great in that game. The Boost Sonic levels are easily the most fun I've had playing any Sonic game. They've really knocked it out of the park. It makes those greatest hits seem better than they actually were by and large. Literally, though. They made... Crisis City is, like, my favorite level in Sonic Generations. Crisis City is a fucking dog shit level in Sonic 06. It's, like, probably one of the worst parts of that game. It's the best level in Sonic Generations to me. Does my dislike of Planet Wisp the level have any effect on my opinion of the song? No, I think Planet Wisp has a very nice song. I like it a lot. It's actually in the stream playlist, so don't worry. It does not affect my opinion on the song. Also, it's just one of those things where Planet Wisp is not even, like, a bad level, it's just the weakest level in Generations. You know? It feels that much worse in comparison because it's, like, the only level that I wouldn't say is great. It's, like, a level that I would say is fine, rather than, like, great. And you know what it is? It's just kind of too long. That's the main thing, is that Planet Wisp is too long, and it makes you, like, do the least interesting section the longest. Which is, like, the rocketing up, like, the factory and stuff. But, like, yeah, man. Generations is good. I don't even think I really need to tell you that Generations is good, because there are, like, very few games in this series that unite people like Sonic Generations. You know? Like, think about how many games in the Sonic series have, like, a general consensus. Like, you have, like, the classic trilogy, which most people would agree is good. I mean, maybe it's dicier for Sonic 1, but Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even if there are many varying opinions on that, for the most part, everyone agrees those two games are good, even great. And then you have, like, Sonic Mania, which most people agree is good. You know? And then it's just, like, Generations. With me talking about Gen 3 Pokemon so much earlier, you think I should watch some of Jimothy Cool's videos of his ADV Revival tournament. I just might. If you, like, send me that, I'll, like, watch it. You have my Discord. Because I'll probably forget by the time I finish this stream. Maybe. Maybe. I feel like people... Yeah, kind of. I think you're right. I think most people like Advance 1. That is true. But yeah, the point still stands, even with those, like, examples. There are very few, like, Sonic games that unite people like Generations, and there are basically no other 3D Sonic games that unite people like Generations. Like, I think, like, more people have come around to Adventure 1 and Adventure 2. But I feel like even then, those games can still be, like, a little controversial. Especially Adventure 1. But there are, like, very few people who would argue against Generations. There are very, very few people who would argue against Generations. Alright. Now I gotta think. I gotta think about what my next pick is gonna be. I feel like I've gotten some good ones out there. You know what? You know what? I figured it out. I think I figured out a good one to add to the list. Man, you want to talk about games with, like, an immaculate aesthetic? Let's talk about Cuphead. You've all heard of Cuphead, right? It's, like, one of the most popular indie games, and man, it's a fucking good one. It's a fucking good one. Here's the thing. Here's a big reason for why I consider Cuphead, like, one of the finest. And it's not even just because it's, like, obviously, like, a gorgeous video game with a very striking art style, like, harkening back to, like, the 1930s. Like, it's already an immaculate aesthetic experience. But, like, here's the thing. Cuphead is fucking hard. If there's another thing that people know Cuphead for, it's for being fucking hard. And you know what? With a lot of harder video games, I'll admit, I'm a little bit of a baby. I don't necessarily have the time to dedicate to, like, super hard, like, uber tough video games. A video game has to, like, really catch me with, like, fun gameplay to make me want to believe it's worth it to go all the way. Because otherwise, I might just believe that I'll get stuck at a point for, like, 5 hours and, like, I won't want to continue. That never happened with Cuphead. My first playthrough of Cuphead was really long, and I fucking stuck with it because Cuphead is good as fuck. It's fucking fun, dude. And honestly, here's the thing. I don't think it would have made this list if it wasn't for Delicious Last Course. Like, Delicious Last Course is, like, one of the best DLCs of all time, and it really, like, makes Cuphead, like, even better, man. It really, like, elevates it even further. Dr. Cal's robot is fucked up. That shit is fucked, to be fair. And yeah, I agree. Pretty much any playthrough I do of Cuphead, I avoid the run-and-guns if I can. And if I do have to do any run-and-guns, I only really do the early ones. You're stuck on King Dice? You'll make it. I believe in you. But yeah, like, very few video games can be that tough as nails and still feel, like, worth trying, you know? It always felt worth it to just keep chugging along in Cuphead and trying to achieve that victory over these, like, hard as fuck boss fights. It's a good one. It's a good one. I recommend Cuphead a lot. I mean, obviously. If you haven't played Cuphead, like, you fucking owe it to yourself. And I mean, yeah, Miss Chalice helps a lot. With the DLC, Miss Chalice makes the game quite a bit more manageable. But yeah, I have no doubt in my mind, Cuphead deserves to be on this list. Cuphead is a good one. I'm gonna go with a weirder pick for this next one. But it's one that I feel in my heart, and I was thinking about it earlier, and I think the time is right. You know, if there was a game I liked the most that felt like very arcadey in its nature, like definitely the kind of game that feels like built from the same kind of material as like a lot of arcade games, Zombies Ate My Neighbors is fucking fantastic, man. Like, listen, it is hard as balls, but just like, I love the cartoony Halloween aesthetic. I love the OST, man. This is a SNES game with a boppin' OST. And it's fun as hell, like, managing these resources. I wouldn't call it survival horror, not by a fucking long shot. But it is kinda survival, and it is kinda horror, which is funny. You do kind of get the best of both worlds. But yeah, Zombies Ate My Neighbors is great. It's a fucking Great game. I highly recommend it. If you haven't tried it, you will get your ass kicked, and you might even think the control scheme is a little weird as fuck. But stick with it. Stick with it. You'll get some better scores. You'll get further and further. And hey, you'll have a good fucking time, because it's a good fucking video game. And you know what? You know what? I'm gonna do another Super Nintendo pick. That is also not technically Nintendo, so I don't feel like I'm overwhelming this list with just Nintendo. We've been on a good streak. The past 6 games have not been, Nintendo. Even if they've been on Nintendo platforms. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is another video game that I really did not play until 2021. It actually took me a long time into my life. Like, I had played Chrono Trigger when I was, like, a little baby kid. I played it when I was 12, I got a few hours in, and I just didn't understand it, so I stopped playing it. When I did my stream of Chrono Trigger, man, what a fun fucking game. What a cool fucking game. I have never seen another, like, video game, or even another story, really, pull off the time travel aspect as, like, eloquently and, like, earnestly as Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is, like, so fucking good, dude. It's, like, up there, man. It's like, when people think of Super Nintendo RPGs, they think of Chrono Trigger for a reason. You know? It's, like, so fucking good. I love all the characters. Chrono, Luca, Marl, Robo. What's the fucking Dracula dude? He's cool, though. Glenn/Frog. Like, dude. Mr. Frog. It's this is another game that I would say is greater than the sum of its parts, you know? It has all these great little details when you're, like, doing time travel and stuff, and you can, like, really see when you're doing it, like, how you're impacting, like, future worlds and stuff. And, like, dude, going to the future in Chrono Trigger is, like, one of the craziest experiences ever. Genuinely. That future segment is, like, burned into my mind as, like, a holy shit moment in video games. You really feel, like, the desolation and, like, despair and just how wrecked this entire world is. And, like, you want to bring hope back to it. You want to be able to bring back hope to it, you know? It's good. It's good. Chrono Trigger is a good one. And, like, if you're a JRPG enthusiast at all and you haven't played Chrono Trigger, like, that's your homework. You have to play Chrono Trigger. Now, while we're on RPGs, we're going back to a Nintendo one for this, and this is definitely on the goofier end. I love Miitopia. I really do. Miitopia is so much fun, dude. It's literally like the same kind of charm element of Tomodachi Life with like a JRPG backdrop, you know? You get to play a fun RPG that also just has, like, your funny Mii characters. Miitopia is not perfect, by any means, but it is, like, fucking fun, dude. It is so fucking fun. And it, like, it doesn't take itself seriously, because it doesn't need to. It's a funny Mii game. It's just, it's good, man. It's good. Life is... When I play Miitopia, I really feel like, man, life is fucking good, bro. Life is fucking good. So we are 37 games in, and this is where it's getting a little tougher. This is where it's getting a little tougher to rack my brain around what I would put here, you know? And honestly, you know, I kind of refuse to put it on at this point, but I think now is the time, you know? It's Minecraft, of course. Everybody loves Minecraft. Also, yeah, this is a Miitopia song. I didn't even talk. Miitopia has a wonderful OST as well. That's like another point towards it. They went so hard on a OST for a funny Mii game. Anyways, Minecraft. Minecraft is a game that I did not understand when I was younger. This is a true fact about myself. I was like, well, that's not true. When I was 12, I kind of understood Minecraft, but then I was just never able to fully get back into the gameplay loop. It was weird. It was like, it was still fun, but I was never able to recapture the exact same, like, vibe I had when I was playing it when I was younger, you know? It was tough. I couldn't fully, like, get myself back into it. And you know what? You know what really turned that around? You know what, like, completely, like, flipped my, like, perception of Minecraft? It was streaming it. I want to say specifically, it was Socksmod. Streaming Socksmod was so much fun. It was the first time where I played Minecraft since I was like 12, and I was like, dude, I fucking get it. I still like, even though like Socksmod is basically like a dead server at this point, I cannot guarantee that Socksmod will ever come back. I'm still thinking about it, man. I'm still thinking about how much fun I had on there, and how I would love to play it again. You know? It's fucking good. It's good shit. But yeah. Minecraft, it's like the video game of all time. I think the only video game that may be more popular than Minecraft is like maybe Fortnite, and Fortnite just has the advantage because it's free to play. Minecraft is the most, like, popular game that you have to pay to play, you know? You have to pay to get into Minecraft, okay? It's a fucking banger, man. It's good. Minecraft is good. That's not gonna shock any of you to hear, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Minecraft is fucking good. Where do we go from the Minecraft? Where do we go from there? It's tough. It's tough. These last 10 picks, I'm gonna have to rack my brain a bit. I've got a good one, though. You know what? I'm actually surprised I didn't do this one sooner. You want to talk about video games that are, like, pure fun and just kind of give you the tools to have, like, a goof-off sesh? Game Dev Tycoon, man. There is, like, something unmatched about Game Dev Tycoon. Just, like, making these, like, goofy, like, video games and, like, figuring out, like, the combinations of, like, oh, what's good for this genre? What would be good for that? What should I maybe implement into it? What should I do with the game engines? How should I budget it? You know, all this stuff. Game Dev Tycoon is, like, just really fun. And I'm really glad it worked out for the devs, because it seems like they really love it. I mean, they've continued to update it over the years. It has, like, the Switch port that's, like, expanded. And it's, like, it's fucking good, man. Game Dev Tycoon is fucking good. It's, like, fun, whether or not you want to go all the way through, you know? You can just have fun, like, making stupid, weird games with stupid names like Doo-Doo Poop Simulator. And, like, be like, yo, Doo-Doo Poop Simulator got a 666 dough. You know? It's cool, and it's fun, and I like it. There's not too much to say about it. It's not, like, it's not gonna shake the world up or anything, but it's fun. It's nice, and I like it. It was one of the first Steam games that I fell in love with, really, you know? It was one of the first Steam games that I played, and I was like, oh fuck, wait, the computer has good games too? Not just like weird Flash games? What? What? Alright, it's actually amazing I had this much restraint to not put this on here already. And listen, I know you're probably sick of seeing Mario by now. You've been seeing Mario's mug a lot this list. But I mentioned it earlier, and like, honestly, Mario Galaxy, man. Mario Galaxy. What can be said about Super Mario Galaxy? It's one of the best 3D platformers ever made. Like, honestly, with, like, all these other, like, 3D platformers on the list, yeah, I probably like them more. But you could, like, very, like, extremely easily make an argument for how much better Mario Galaxy is than those games. Like, Mario Galaxy is, like, kind of a near-perfect 3D platformer in a way. Really, the only reason I would, like, place it below these two is just because I think 3D World has better level design, and I think that 64 has a better 100%. Because technically, like, speaking, if you go for all 120 stars in Mario Galaxy, you'll be like, yeah, this is awesome. But if you go for, like, Super Luigi Galaxy 2, you might get a little sick of it. Like, Mario Galaxy is good. Playing it twice in a row might be a little tiring. Like, you're gonna need at least a month break beforehand, I think. But, like, man, Mario Galaxy is fucking amazing. It really is, like, one of the finest games. I would honestly, like, listen, I did put these two games above it, but if you asked me, Morgan, which is the definitive best 3D Mario? Like, not tainted by my own biases and the way I enjoy games, Mario Galaxy is the best one. And it's not even, like, close, you know? Mario Galaxy is the best 3D Mario. It might be one of the best video games ever made, to be honest. I think you could make a very strong argument for Super Mario Galaxy 1 being one of the best games ever made. And I would say that about Galaxy 2 as well. I don't like Galaxy 2 quite as much as Mario Galaxy. I think that Mario Galaxy, like, Mario Galaxy 2 definitely has, like, more creative level themings and stuff, and, like, better level design. Mario Galaxy 1 is, like, maybe the only time where they gave a shit about a Mario story. And, like, it's a lot of background stuff, you know? It's not necessarily, like, at the end of the day, the main plot is still, like, you know, save the princess from the big Bowser. But, dude, all the all the lore with Rosalina, all the background information about that you get about these different galaxies and stuff. Mario Galaxy, like, makes these, like, random, like, floating levels feel like organic places to be, you know? It feels like these are real places. With histories, with people who have been there since the start. Mario Galaxy is awesome. Mario Galaxy is divine, even. It may not be my personal favorite 3D Mario, but if you asked me, Morgan, what is the best 3D Mario game? It's Mario Galaxy. It's Mario Galaxy, and it's, like, not even particularly close. Mario Galaxy is it's a masterpiece, you know? I don't use the term lightly. Super Mario Galaxy is a masterpiece. We have 8 more slots. We have 8 more slots. What would I consider putting on these last 8 slots? That's tough. That's tough. That's something I really gotta rack my brain around, you know? It's no longer easy baby time. It's like, I really gotta think about it, you know? You know, honestly, earnestly, it's time for some controversy. It's time for some controversy. Now you may say, Morgan, you're insane. You're fucking crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about. All your other opinions are moot because you put this on here. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Any complaint that you could have about Sonic Forces, I probably agree with. The story is stupid. The level design is very linear. Sonic Forces is like a video game that for some reason is like so perfect in its design in terms of like not being that great that it's like infinitely replayable for me because I want people to look at it. And it's not even to look at it necessarily in a mocking way, but also to get a good laugh out of stuff like None of This Is Good Vector. That's why it's called War. There is like a lot of chuckle-worthy moments in Sonic Forces. Obviously. Sonic Forces is like so earnest to me. Like, Sonic Forces feels like they wanted to make like a fucking Sonic fanfiction game. And I mean that in the literal best way possible. They wanted this to be a power fantasy for you to enjoy where you get to be best friends with Sonic the Hedgehog. And does it fumble in its attempt? Obviously a little bit. But it's like, it feels so genuine and so like honest. And like, it's like amateur and like cute to me. Sonic Forces is cute to me. And I will, like, there's a reason why Sonic Forces is just like a channel points reward that you can save up for. Because I have no problem replaying Sonic Forces at literally any time. I have never played Sonic Forces all the way through and been like, man, I'm really burnt out on Sonic Forces. I couldn't play this game again for a while. No, I could probably play Sonic Forces all the way through for like a couple weeks straight and still be like, you know what? I could go for more Sonic Forces. It's my favorite B-grade movie. That's what it is to me. It's a fucking B movie. And I adore it for that. There are absolutely, like, so many different Sonic games that are so much better that are not gonna make this list. I think, like, Sonic Frontiers would probably make this list if it didn't release, like, literally last year, and I would maybe need more time to reevaluate my feelings on it. You know? Like, there is a reason that, like, the most recent game on here is, like, what? I'm trying to think, what actually, like, can any of you guys tell me what the most recent game is on here? Is it literally Tetris 99? Is 2019 the most recent game on here? There are no games on here from this decade. Well, you know what? Binding of Isaac Repentance, but that's like an add-on to a game that was already good. aside from Splatoon 3. Yeah, well, I group Splatoon series together, so I don't really count that. But yeah, Sonic Frontiers is, like, very good, and I like it a lot. I love it, even. But I think I need a little more time to simmer on it, you know? I think I need a few more replays of it to really see, like, will it stand up to some of my other favorite Sonic games, you know? That is the only reason why Sonic Forces is on here over Frontiers. Because otherwise I probably would just put Frontiers instead. But also it was funny to start off by saying, let's cause a little controversy. Let's cause a little stir. And you know what? Did you think we were done with Mario? Did you think we were done with Mario? I'm not fucking done with Mario, okay? Listen. There is no Nintendo game that makes me feel as warm inside as Super Mario Maker 2. The Infinite Mario. The summer where I was addicted to Mario Maker 2, it was so good, man. I want to get back into Super Mario Maker 2, maybe even stream it again. Cause, like, Mario Maker 2 is fucking good, man. I mean, you want to talk about a game that is, like, hard carried by the community? The community in Super Mario Maker 2 is so fucking talented. There are so many good levels to play. There are, like, so many good worlds to play now. If I wanted to just become a Mario Maker 2 streamer exclusively, I fucking could. Man. The only reason that I didn't do it is because my old capture card fucking hated Mario Maker 2. So I never really got into the flow of, like, streaming a lot of Mario Maker, but, like, man, I'm telling you, once it happens, once I decide again to stream Mario Maker 2, you're gonna be seeing it a lot. You're gonna be seeing it so much. Mario Maker 2 is fucking good. I almost lumped it in with Mario Maker 1 and, like, did Mario Maker series, but I do think I just straight up enjoy Mario Maker 2 more. Even if I miss, like, the mystery mushrooms a lot, I think, like, honestly, the differences they made with, like, actually building levels is, like, you kind of can't beat it. I guess that would have to include Mario Maker for 3DS too, huh? Yeah, Mario Maker 2 for 3DS is not going on the list, I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry to everybody who was gunning for Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS to be on here. It's not happening, unfortunately. And that hurts to say, but it's true. Oh, that's the wrong one. I was trying to open OBS. Because I kind of just want to check Steam real quick and see if, like, anything jumps out at me as immediately, like, this has to be on there. I mean, Inscription was really good, but that feels too recent. Psychonauts 2 also feels like a little too recent, because I just played that this year. Like, I don't want to give in to recency bias. You know? I don't want to give in too hard to, like, recency bias. Okay. This is like, I feel this one. You know what? I'm, like, looking at it, and I'm like, yeah. This makes sense for me. Now, as you all may know, I got into Vocaloid quite a bit later than a lot of other people. You know? I was not really, like, a Vocaloid fan much in, like, my earlier years. Like, I don't know, I had heard stuff like Rolling Girl, and I was like, man, Rolling Girl is a really good song. This is awesome. I'm not even gonna do the full title, because this could kind of be a series thing a little bit. But it's specifically Megamix Plus, because that's the one I played. But, like, once I, like, really, like, indulged myself a little more in, like, Vocaloid culture, I would still not say I'm, like, super knowledgeable on Vocaloid. Like, do not ask me, like, oh, Morgan, I like this genre of music. Could you tell me a Vocaloid song that I might like? I would be like, I don't fucking know. Oh, you want a psychedelic rock Vocaloid song? I don't know. Can you pick up a football? You're scaring me. But, like, Project Diva has been a very good way of, like, kind of letting me play catch-up with a lot of other, like, very iconic Vocaloid songs, and maybe some more, like, obscure ones. I mean, maybe they're all, like, pretty popular if they got in this game. I could not tell you 100%, but a lot of these songs I was hearing for the first time, and man, there's some straight bangers in this set list, man. I mean, like, like, this is another, like, community type thing where, like, the Vocaloid community is very talented. It's a bunch of musicians who essentially use this, like, electronic voice as another instrument for their music. And, you know, they imbue these, like, personalities on these characters that otherwise, you know, there's no real defined character for Hatsune Miku. You know, if you tried to say, like, this is the character of Hatsune Miku, like, yeah, that would be your interpretation, because she's kind of just, like, her and, like, the other Vocaloids, they're just characters for whatever interpretation you need them for. Everybody who puts them in, like, a song will just put them in whatever distinct role they feel fits right, you know? Project Diva is cool, Vocaloid is cool, so I feel good about this pick. Honestly, I feel good about it. I've thought about it, and I'm like, yeah. Because, like, it's no secret, I've enjoyed a lot of Vocaloid stuff recently. I mean, like, Wonderful Opportunity is probably, like, one of my favorite bands of all time. You guys should listen to some Wonderful Opportunity, man. I've given a lot of their albums a listen, and they're fucking stellar. Even their earlier shit, back when the stuff sounded a lot more rough, you know? Oh, man. We got 5 more picks. We got 5 more picks. This is tough. This is really where it starts to get tough. We gotta think of 5 more games that are pure Morgan core. Just throw in Smash Bros? That's hard. Because I gotta be honest, I look at this list of video games, and, like, I've played a lot of Smash Brothers. I don't actually think I like Smash Brothers more than, like, literally any of these games. Can I keep it real? I don't think I like Smash Brothers more than literally any of these games. Yeah, it's no Sonic Forces, to be honest. I don't know, like, Smash Brothers is really good, but it's like, no specific Smash Brothers game really speaks to me. If that you know what? You know what? I'm wrong. I'm wrong. There is one. I thought about it. This is like, this one, this is for childhood Morgan. Alright? Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Alright, it's a little bit, you're probably looking at me and you're like, Morgan, come on. Well, you're probably not, because if you actually, like, care that much and you think, like, Brawl is a dumb, stupid game, like, you're an idiot. Oh, it's like the slow one and has like tripping stuff and shit. And oh, but the Subspace Emissary isn't that good. Shut up. Shut up. You played the fuck out of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I played the fuck out of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It's fun as fuck, dude. I love the Subspace Emissary. I love the stage builder. I love the roster of characters. Smash Brothers is how I figured out about the Mother series, and I thought Lucas was such a fun lad to play. He was my main. I played so much with the stage builder, I would just, like, use it to, like, play with toys, essentially. I would, like, make these stages that are like, oh, this is a house, this is inside of a TV, this is that. Because it was just fucking fun to do. You could build torture devices in Smash Bros. Brawl. Like, here's the thing, the Smash Ultimate stage builder is probably more freeform, but Brawl honestly kind of felt like it inspired more creativity in me. Because it was like, you would use these, like, different distinct shapes to kind of, like, make something that was, like, close to what you wanted it to be. And that was fun. It was fucking fun, man. And I mean, the Subspace Emissary is the coolest single player. Is it, like, the literal best single player in Smash Brothers? Probably not. But, like, it's cool. And it's weird that they never attempted another story mode, because Sakurai was like, man, I hated that people spoiled the Subspace Emissary online. I hate that people uploaded the cutscenes. Like, what are you talking about, man? They uploaded the cutscenes because they thought it was cool. Why didn't you do it again? You had, like, Kirby watch everyone die and nothing else in World of Light. Fuck. It's crazy. Subspace Emissary is a banger. Alright? It's not perfect. The Great Maze kinda sucks. But doubt it's that, as that whole mode was probably a big resource pull. That's probably the real reason that they just haven't stated, to be fair. But, like, that's the reason that Sakurai gave, was just like, oh, well, people put the cutscenes online. And it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Surely not. Fuck. But yeah, Smash Bros. Brawl is, like, my pick for my favorite Smash. Honestly, I think I even had more fun playing it with my cousins than I do with Ultimate currently. Because we really do just play Ultimate now, because it's, like, easier. Like, it's easier to have the Switch set up than it is the Wii. You know? And, like, it has that, like, unique aesthetic. It is, like, such a unique aesthetic, and, like, you could say it's, like, ugly, but it's, like, so charming to me. I don't think I'd put Super Meat Boy on this list. I like Super Meat Boy. I don't think I'd put Super Meat Boy as one of my favorite games ever. I think Celeste does everything that Meat Boy does, like, better. To be honest. Stupid Meat Boy. I mean, it's still good. I think you would, like, go back to Super Meat Boy and have a fun time playing it, but I think that Celeste is, like, the cooler Super Meat Boy. Dr. Fetus's Mean Meat Machine. Honestly, when you say it like that, Super Meat Boy sucks, actually. Super Meat Boy fucking sucks. Man. Fuck this game. Fuck. Okay. I am going to do what will probably be the most recent game on this list. But I feel it in my soul. I feel it as like, yeah, you know what? I think this is up there. I think this is up there for me. And it's a little bit of a goofy pick, but I think anybody who knows me will understand. WarioWare, get it together. When this game came out, I was fucking addicted. I actually, like, here's the thing. I am glad we're getting the standard motion control fare with WarioWare, like, what is it called? It's not Shake It. That's the Wario Land game. What the fuck did they call the new WarioWare? I know it's just super smooth moves in Japan. I remember that because I fucking love smooth moves. It's just called Move It. I literally thought I made that up. I literally, like, actually, I'm, like, mad that that's the name now. Because literally, in my mind, I was like, no, that's, like, the name I gave it. Because I'm stupid. And now I, like, a man. Anyways, WarioWare Get It Together is, like... I think, like, the different characters mechanic that it implements in WarioWare is, like, maybe one of the most genius things they've ever done. Genuinely. I can understand why people were a little disappointed they didn't get more standard Wario fare, but, like, dude, this is such a fun interpretation of the WarioWare series. I think, like, the most fun thing to do in WarioWare Get Together is literally just, like, pick random, like, characters and, like, have a ball with it. Just, like, fuck it, we ball. Like, yeah, you might not get the highest score in the world if you get stuck with, like, 9V and, like, his whole family, but it's just fucking fun. It's fun to, like, control all these different characters and learn, like, which microgames they're good for, which microgames they kind of struggle with, building the best team composition. And, I mean, there are obvious characters that are just better than others, but, man, it don't matter. WarioWare Get It Together, it's a fucking good one. It's a fucking good one. Yeah, I think it adds a lot of variety. Which is already WarioWare's strength, you know? WarioWare's strength is, like, that replayability of, like, getting better and better at these micro games. And now you have, like, all these different characters that you could try to get better at these micro games with, you know? It's cool. It's dope. I like it. We got 3 more slots. We got 3 more slots. This is gonna be hard to rack my brain around. We have 3 more video game slots. Super Mario 63, true? Trudeau? Ultimate Flash Sonic. You know what? You know what? We do need Flash game representation. We do need Flash game representation. I agree. Man, was there anything better than Bloons? For my money, Bloons is, like, the best Flash game. By far. I have never not played Bloons and not had a good time with it. Even when I get fucked over and I lose, like, when I'm near the end and I'm like, no, I was so close! I'm still like, man, that was fun, though. That was fun, though. Bloons is just, like, such a pure concept. And they, like, execute it so well. And, like, there was just that phase where I was addicted to, like, Bloons on my Steam Deck. Bloons is good as fuck, bro. It's, like, the Flash game of all time for me. And it doesn't really matter which entry in the series. I've definitely played, I think, either 4 or 5 the most. But, like, all the entries, I mean, it's fucking Bloons, man. Have fun playing Bloons. I gotta play the weirder knockoffs. Well, not knockoffs, but, like, weirder spin-offs and stuff. Like, Bloons Adventure Time. You gotta play Bloons Adventure Time, man. But yeah, Bloons is fucking awesome. This is probably the only Flash game representation I could reasonably put, and I think it's the one that makes the most sense. And this is also just gonna be a general series one, because, really any of them are good. Really any of them are good. You can play any of them and have a good time, man. You know, honestly, I don't know how the fuck I haven't put this on here already. I don't know how the fuck this game avoided this list until now, because I just thought of it, and I was like, wait, duh. Kirby Superstar Ultra! Dude, Kirby Superstar Ultra kicks ass! It's literally just more Kirby Superstar, which is already a good game. And it's, like, more. It's fucking dope, dude. There's so much good shit in Kirby Superstar Ultra. And I really like the extra modes they added. Beating the true arena for the first time, there really is no achievement as a kid that feels greater, man. Honestly, it was between this and Kirby Planet Robobot, but I think, like, Kirby Superstar Ultra has, like, a bigger nostalgic attachment for me. Honestly, though, if I can't think of anything else, Kirby Planet Robobot might be the last entry on this list. I don't know. We have to rack our brains around it. I used Hammer a lot. I did not just use Stone because I was not a patient enough kid to just use Stone. I wanted to speed through that shit, man. And Hammer was the fastest way to do it, even if it was more risky. You know what? You know what? I'm going with my heart. I'm going with my heart for this last pick. It's maybe not a game I've played a crazy amount in recent years, but in terms of, like, a game that makes me smile when I think about it, and just brings me back to childhood, and, like, warms my heart. My last pick for this list is the legendary Starfy. I remember seeing the commercial for the legendary Starfy as a kid, and, like, really wanting to play it. Like, I really wanted to play it. And you know what? When I finally got to play it, man, it was good. It was real good. It was one of the only games that I gave enough of a shit about as a kid, where I wanted to 100% it. And I did. Legendary Starfy is, like, good as fuck. It's kind of crazy that this is the only Starfy game we ever got in the West, because, man, this is a series that is, like, seems really solid. I'm kind of sad that this was the last Starfy game. Like, it was the only Starfy game we got here, and then they stopped making them. That's fucked up, because it's, like, a really fun game. And, like, the characters are so cute and charming. It's like... You know how Kirby is always, like, the cute series for a lot of people? I think the legendary Starfy is cuter than Kirby. Well, he's as cute. Alright. He's as cute. You got the dress-up mode. It's just like... Dude. What a game. What a game. It really takes you on, like, a fucking adventure, man. But yeah, these, I think, are pretty definitively my favorite video games. I'm gonna shuffle them real quick. I'm gonna shuffle them until Pokemon Emerald is the first one again. And then the rest of the order kinda doesn't matter. Good list, IMO? Thank you, thank you. I tried my best. It all came from the heart, you know? It all came from the heart. Oh, we were so close on that attempt. It was number 2. There we go. Well, that was fun. I had fun doing that. You know? I'm glad I just kind of did that on a whim. I'm glad I just got to talk about, like, good video games, man. I had to talk about some real fucking good video games. Yeah, God, I've been streaming for almost 9 hours. Holy shit. I almost streamed for 9 hours tonight? What the fuck? It's almost 3 in the morning. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight's Variety Hour. I had fun with Emerald Rogue. I wish that I didn't throw so hard, but it's okay. I feel better after doing Favorite Games Bingo. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed just hearing me talk about games. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. Tomorrow we'll be playing the Resident Evil 4 DLC. And that'll be fun, too. You know, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's gonna be it for tonight's stream. I want to thank you all for coming. Hope you're having a good night and take care. Go to bed right after this stream, or you suffer my curse. Bye-bye.